on your evil mind.
Hold your insulting tongue and mark my words well.
How about this rumor that you are really Iron Man, Mr. Stark?
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles. I am your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter and Blue Sky, and man, you can find me everywhere. But anyway, Twitter, Blue Sky. You find me there. You can also find me at CB News There's Need on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can also find me at CB Caps on Instagram. And of course, I don't believe I have that stinger on here anywhere, but South Carolina with Columbia down the way. But also, I'm sure I'll put that in post. And the sound effects you've heard come from, well, me. Because, yeah, it's just me tonight, folks. And there it is. Because Agent 70, our man in Brooklyn, is on assignment. And so it's just me. Yeah, so get ready for a Ramble Fest, folks. No one can stop me now. Anyway, but I'm going to get right to it with the spiel with, you can find this here podcast on, well, you can find Agent 70 also on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, yeah, them other places, you know, oops. What's up, Von Gloom? You might be able to find him in a TARDIS, but yes, I am in a TARDIS. It's not the TARDIS that I would have chosen, you know, but my other TARDIS is in the shop, so I got to go with what I got, right? You know, I'm a little bit of a Whovian, but I'm not as, you know, not as big as a fan as a lot of folks are. But I do love me some Doctor Who here and there. Oh man, shoot, Martha Jones would have been Belinda. You know, maybe even Billy. I don't know. You know, there's a couple of them that could roll with me. Is all I'm saying. But you know, anyway, getting into that. What's going on tonight, Von Gloom? How you bijous? Hope you're doing well tonight. But yeah, you can find this here podcast on the Coastal Slither Podcast Network. That's CSPN.us. Do it today. You can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Apple iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Coastal Slither Podcast Network SoundCloud page. So yeah, folks, like I said just a second ago, Agent 70 is off on assignment. If y'all don't already know, he's at San Diego Comic-Con. If y'all see him out there, say hey, you know. I have received some good news about something I wanted, but hopefully there's something else that I really also wanted that I hope that can be procured for me. Actually, there's two things, but I know one I didn't ask for, and the other one, I don't think I'm going to get it. Let's be honest. But I do know one thing that's been procured thanks to Agent 70 and Matt Wayne 97, and I appreciate them for it. But I'm just going to end up taking the L on the other thing, I suppose, because it's not going to be shown. It's not going to be anywhere else. So, with that, folks, we are going to get into the show properly. So, I said I was going to talk about, and I don't know why I'm yelling, so forgive me for that. But I said I was going to start with Fantastic Four talk. And part of me kind of wants to still wait for Agent 70 to come back so we can kind of have a proper conversation. Because, you know, it would just be me ranting, which I was going to do anyway. So what was going to be the difference with that? But for the most part, I will say that I enjoyed it. Matter of fact, so the wife and I went Thursday afternoon. So we technically didn't have to do movie protocol, but because I hadn't read any books and hadn't gotten a whole lot together for the show outside of a bunch of news, which we will get to. I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and take the day, mull over it, and then and I'll have the show tonight, which we were doing. And that was a kind of a mistake because I added more news. So that's done. Which I kind of want to start with the news so that I can kind of get it out of the way and then do books. But I guess by the time I finish talking either way. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, darn. Have I not been talking this whole time? Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. Have I not been coming through this whole time? Because if not, I'm going to be very upset. As a matter of fact, I might be coming in twice. I think I have been coming in twice. So, actually, no, I think I have been coming in. Von Gloom, if you can hear me, if you heard me in the chat just now, let me know. The SDCD Doom price broke my wallet. Damn near $200 for a good God Emperor Doom. Oh, I forgot about that. Was the thing. Okay, yeah, no, I got rid of the Echo. So I forgot that my cam. Actually, hold on. There we go. I had to. So I forgot to turn off my. Oh, if I'm still having echo now, let me know. But hopefully not, because yeah, I forgot to turn off my I forgot to turn off the cam audio. I don't know why that even was on, because it shouldn't have been. So okay, cool, sweet. Probably have to edit some of that out, but that's fine. Stereo. But anyway, like I was saying, yeah, that got Emperor Doom. I had totally forgotten about that one. So there was two things I kind of wanted out of the con, or three things actually. But one of them's available wide, so I'm not really worried about that. And that was like some the Gundam card game just came out, and that whole thing, I want to get the whole set of that stuff. But that's gonna take some doing, and I probably can go to my local my local card shop and get that stuff, because like I said, that's wide already. They just had a thing at and I saw that the Magic the Gathering was giving away. So obviously they're being there at San Diego was giving away a card for their upcoming Avatar: The Last Bender set that's coming up in like November or something, and that is a set I very much want. So that is a thing I'm probably going to take an L about. And also, there's a couple other things. Hopefully we'll talk about those when Agent 70 comes back. Or at least one of them when Agent 70 comes back. But let me just go ahead and get into the show with... I'm actually going to do a very, 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 very brief Fantastic Four. I already said I liked it, so that was the whole thing. The only thing that I would suggest for folks... Fantastic Four, and this is going to be spoiler free or spoiler light, so don't worry about that. But the only thing that I would say about Fantastic Four is, if you are a comic book fan, I would say, or may not peruse the comic book shops, there is a prequel comic to the movie, and it's called Fantastic Four First Steps. It is a one-shot comic that kind of gives up a little bit of information going into the book. It's definitely in the world of the movie, and it kind of sets up something that you see in the movie, but you don't really get full context on. You may not necessarily need it though, but in case you want to need, there was a small event that happened before the movie, and that is showcased in the book. And that kind of goes into something that is in the book, in the movie, that is shown. So it's like, and luckily, like I said, we talked about it probably a couple of weeks ago on the show. I can't remember when we talked about that book, but yeah, that is a thing that is out there, and it's a little bit of it. It kind of gives a little something about something that happens in the movie that you were like, okay, that's weird. That maybe not weird, but I was like, okay, that's a thing that's happened here, but there you go. But either way, like I said, Fantastic Four was a great movie, I think. Heard it doesn't line up with it. Does not, Von Gloom. And that part right there, that's slightly spoilery. So yeah, so we'll also say there are two oops, excuse me. There are two credit scenes, and neither one of them lines up to the Thunderbolts movie like we thought it would, and which makes me curious as to how that where are they going to line up. But then again, we also got Fantastic Four will return in X movie. Y'all know the movie that's coming up, so I don't even have to say it. So that part was weird, but if you have seen more than one or two, or if you're on Twitch a lot, probably 3 or 4 or 5 there, because Twitch has shown a lot of commercials, and is all of the stuff is in the movie. So any commercial, they didn't seem like they cut anything from any of the commercials that are out there right now, or TV spots that are out there, that is not in the movie. So yeah, kinda. I don't remember how. I don't remember the ultimate how they ultimately got rid of Galactus in that movie. Actually, I need to go back and rewatch that movie because of this movie, because I was kind of wondering if that was the case, Von Gloom. And I'm not gonna say what he just said, because just in case it ends up being a, you know, not for anybody, not to spoil it for anybody, but yeah, that seems to line up what you're saying. Now that being said, I mean, you know, this is the Marvel Universe as we are, you know, things are things. So, will we see certain people ever again? Yes, probably. In what capacity? Who knows? I did find it interesting how some of the liberties. Oh, okay. Well, that sort of, yeah, okay, yeah, close, but not quite. Actually, it's funny you remember that, but I mean, it's funny because you bring that up, because I kind of wondered if they were going to do certain things similar to either of those Fantastic Four movies, particularly that one for one specific instance. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to give up too much because it's going to be spoilery. And the movie just came out Thursday, so I know some people don't care about spoilers like that. But I gotta, you know, it's concern for the greater audience out there, you know. So, because believe me, I hate when people spoil stuff, you know, just all willy nilly from day zero, and that sucks. So, and I don't want to be one of those people. I mean, just assuming anybody actually watches this, you know, within a timely manner. But we will definitely be getting into it again when Agent 70 comes back in the next week or two, whatever. Yeah, well, there's always going to be those people, Von Gloom. There's stupid people, the stupid, cringy people are always going to be out there, and those probably were the same people who were mad that there was a female Silver Surfer. So, F those people. You know what I'm saying? Fuck them. But yeah, those people in particularly are just the worst. But yeah, like I said, the movie was good. Space, you know, it's like the whole family aspect, as you would expect for Fantastic Four, is there. You know, the whole space adventure thing was out there, was there. So some pretty good effects. They definitely took a lot of liberties with some of the material, which again is an adaptation, so you have to expect as much. But all in all, it was a good movie. Now, I'm not going to be one of the ones to put it up against Superman, because I think there are two, like, while they are both superhero movies, there are two different types. Like, Superman's going all action, where Fantastic Four, while having action in it, is kind of, you know, Fast and Furious, and I say that reference intentionally, family. So, which, I mean, like I said, if you've seen any of the commercials, you have seen that aspect of it. So I'm not saying anything that is out of school about that. But yeah, like I said, that's pretty much my quick. And I know there are people who are saying like this is Marvel's got their groove back or whatever. I am one of the ones who don't think. Well, one, I don't think Thunderbirds was like the greatest movie since Endgame, like some critics or whatever things were saying. Um, but I do think, you know, with Fantastic Four, Marvel's kind of keeping in step and keeping it fresh and freshly in step at that. So, has Marvel done a Lost in Space inspired run where the entire family is wandering in space? Are you up here giving away uh, writing plots that you could be doing for an FF run, sir? And honestly, I am not the one to answer that question because I think while I have read a good bit of FF in my time, I think Agent 70 will probably be better equipped to answer that one because he's got whole runs of them, so he may or may not remember better than I do on that front. So honestly, I don't know. I don't recall anything. Now they've been separated. They've definitely been, you know, out in space and in different dimensions or whatever else for lengths of time, but I don't think they've done the whole Lost in Space situation. So that would be cool though if they did that. Sure. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to talk too much about Fantastic Four at this point. Like I said, without Agent 70 being here, but if you get a chance to go see it, go check it out. You know, it doesn't matter what I say now or what I say when Agent 70 here. Sometimes movies are best, best reviewed when you watch them yourself. You know, you have your own opinion. Go forth. So yes, they were lost in time. Well, actually, if you spoiler alert for recent books, they are also again lost in time. So as we talked about with well, technically we didn't talk about it, but that was a week ago. Yeah, so they're kind of lost in time now. So so of course, this time travel comic books. We'll be talking more about time travel and stuff later on in the show. I remember they were trying to prevent Fury from curing it. I don't remember that. So yeah, like I said, your memory is better on that stuff than I do because I don't. There's a whole lot of Fantastic Four I did not read. I've read like parts and parts and parts. That being said, though, like I said, we want to keep this pushing because I got a lot to kind of go through tonight, and I've already started late. So we are going to get into the books of the week. I think I've pretty much established that. And we're going to start off with just a little bit of
Fire! Wind! Water!
Heart! Go Planet!
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
Captain Planet and the Planeteers #2. So yeah, folks, this is a packed week. I gotta say, it's written by David Pepose with art by Inab Casalos. Excuse me if I pronounced that wrong. Colors by George Sutil and letters by Jeff Eckleberry. So, last issue, with being the first issue, I'm going to turn you into a tree. You're so silly. So the first issue, we get introduced to the kids you know from the show, but this version of the kids are kind of slightly real world facing. Like you could probably see some of these people in the real world, but not, I mean, maybe not, definitely not in the same way. So Kwame was a former soccer star. Until I guess he had an accident or something. Bungling, you're so silly. Guy is a marine biologist. Wheeler's, I don't know what the hell Wheeler's deal is, but he's American. Linka's like some Russian princess, kind of, sort of, mob princess, or excuse me, not mob, but her dad owns some big ass business in Russia, so technically she's kind of a princess in that respect. Mati's kind of Mati, but was a little bit more violent before he getting the ring. Did I miss anybody? Quanky, Linka, Wheeler. Yeah, no, I got all 5 of them. Like I said, Mati started out last issue kind of violent, actually. So no, but like I said, after getting the ring, he kind of calmed down a little bit. I can say that much. Like I said, yeah, kind of, but he was always that. Bootleg Guy Gardner, Angry Ginger. Yeah, that kind of tracks. But so in this issue, we get the kids kind of getting together after. So here's what happened last issue. Spoiler alert. Sorry. Gaia popped up. She's running from loot and plunder. Oh, excuse me, from plunder. Got caught by plunder. He's being held captive by plunder. Who we see in this issue also who has her character, the character who has her locked up. She tries to get word out telepathically through the rings, through magic, whatever the case may be. The kids already got the rings because they got them last issue, and the kids kind of get drawn together to one spot. And unlike the show, altercations happen. But some of the kids have kind of worked together, and they're not really kids; they're more young adults. So I think they might have slightly aged them up just a bit. Matter of fact, a good bit, because like I said, you being a marine scientist, you couldn't really do that if she was still a teen. So they definitely have aged them up to, I would say, if anything, mid-20s. Some about around about that, maybe early to mid-20s. But that's where, like I said, the crux of this particular issue is them kind of meeting each other. They're kind of starting off on a rocky start, but at the end of this issue, let's just say things start coming together in the way that you would expect it to. In fact, let's just say the thing's been said, and done. There was a couple of other things that kind of struck me about this issue, in that there was some armor that Plunder's people uses that kind of looks like Lex Luthor's old armor, in a way, and just in Mantar's armor and just about anybody else's. So therein lies that. But yeah, this was a good issue. The term loot and plunder was also used, because that is also in the theme song, so that's kind of good. And the water spilling all over it, so excuse me. But that's pretty much it for Captain Planet and Planeteers. It is still continuing to be a good book, and as you can see here, Captain Planet done changed just slightly. The guy done glowed up, some to speak. Next book that we're going to talk about, though, is Void Rivals number 21. Because like I said, I kind of need to do kind of quickly these books, because I got a lot of news. But written by Robert Kirkman, art by Connor Hughes, colors by Patricio Del Pesce, letters by Russ Wooten. So we get a little bit more on our Skunksoid friend from Transformers Season 3, and also all through this book. He's having trouble assimilating with his kin, because he's just found out what the whole deal with, and I think that's probably like new canon for that character's species, or that character and his species. So therein lies that. Then we cut to the goings on Derek's planet with his dad and Solilla, and we find out that I can't remember the Zertonian Prime Minister's name, but he kind of went through a whole trial going on, and now he got let loose thanks to Serta, and pretty much went to take his spot back from Proximus. And Proximus is now basically the lethal long arm. As we see here, there is an attack on the Agrarians, which is Derek's home planet. So he, Solilla, and by the way, Hot Rod and Springer, who are still there with them, kind of go into action, and which sets up a rematch between Springer and Proximus, because they've met before. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm assuming next issue. We'll talk about might be talking about Void Rivals later on in the news, because we might have some news on where it's going to happen with that book, but we shall see. Next up, though, is Silverhawks number 5, written by Ed Brisson. Oh wait, hold on for a second. What? How dare I?
Tally ho! Wings of silver, birds of steel.
Got to make sure it's coming through. Silverhawks number 5, like I said, written by Ed Brisson, art by George Cambadius, with colors by George Cambadius, and letters by Jeff Eckelberry. So we start off with flashbacks to a young stargazer and his team. Hot Rod is such a 80s name. Yep. Yes. Oh yeah. Silverhawks was up to 5. Shoot, Space Ghost is up to. Well, we'll talk about Space Ghost in a minute. But yeah, we get flashbacks to a young stargazer who was a part of the first iteration of the Silverhawks team, and dealings with Monstar from back then, and what they were dealing with their last interaction with Monstar, and before coming into the present, where he basically sends the team off because Monstar's still back around until out. Kind of sends them out on their first official mission with all of them all cybernetic up and whatnot. So it is we might even have gotten a little like smidges of new lore, because from what was suggested in this book, it sounds like, well, this is definitely not in our galaxy, and it sounds like humans came to the Limbo Galaxy, which I guess that would make sense. Like many years ago, and Monstar has been like, "No, I've been here the whole time. I'm ruling this spot. So y'all are just germs here." And so that is kind of what we've discovered with this book. So and therein lies that. Like, so there's really not much else to say that won't just go through. I don't want to spoil too much. There is definitely like I said, some things going on. Some things going on, but it's basically, hey, just some action from the past, and then cut to the future, basically, or cut to the present. Excuse me. And now, Von Gloom, I hope you got your edibles and whatnot ready, because ThunderCats and Powerpuff Girls number 104 is the book I'm going to talk about next. I'm fairly certain I have. That'll work. But yeah, I don't have anything for the Powerpuff Girls. Sorry. Written by Paulina Ganucho. My apologies for butchering the name. Art by Coleman Ingle. Colors by Kendall Good. And letters by Jeff Eckelberry. So this is a trippy book. And it kind of starts off kind of running because town's a handful to prepare for the trip. So here's the thing. And you get this like very at the start of the book. So it seems like one or all of the Powerpuff Girls. It looked like at the beginning that the Powerpuff Girls are watching the ThunderCats go through what they go through, and I guess or narrating what they're going through before they come into the picture, which is like I said, very early. But basically, no, not Coleman Domingo. So that would be impressive. Man's got a style of his own. We know this already, but that would be funny. So yeah, like I said, it's kind of basically it's like this. The ThunderCats, most of the ThunderCats get captured. The Powerpuff Girl, who just so happens to be there by one throwaway panel, happens to be on Third Earth. So they are helping Tigra to help out and find the rest of the ThunderCats. And there's also, we see what got them in the first place, which is so far it doesn't seem like Mumra, but we don't know. But there's a lot of silliness in this book, in the way this is presented. Like I said, we see you know, Jaga pops up, and so does the professor. So don't worry your heads about it. Even though, weirdly enough, as we usually know, enough that may have changed, but the only one who could normally see see Jaga is Lion-O, who pops up in his book, but not necessarily because but not in either of the ways that I just mentioned. But yeah, there's a lot of Powerpuff Girl type silliness going on with this issue. Which was kind of cute and fun to read. I would imagine. I mean, it's not even imagine because I did read it. So they even get named the Thunderpuff Girls, which, you know, hey, if that ends up being figures somewhere down the line, then there you go. But yeah, fun read. I don't, you know, this book is probably, I was going to say, who is this book for? Partially it's probably me, but not really, because like, yeah, both of those properties I'm okay with, but at the same time, this is a very silly book, but I enjoyed reading it for as silly as it gotten. So, and this is 1 of 4, by the way. So there's 3 more issues to be had by this. Is it probably him? He has to probably do some crap like that. Yeah, I don't know. That's that hasn't been established yet, but maybe, possibly. Don't know. I guess we will find out at some point between the next couple of issues. Now then, we get to our next book, which is, oh man, my voice is going to hate me after this show. Space Ghost Annual number 1. Let's see if I have that. Well, shoot. Space Ghost! There we go. Also worth noting, Space Ghost, Johnny Quest came out, number 2 came out last week, but I'm not talking about it because I haven't read it yet. But Space Ghost Annual number 1, I'm going to say 2025 here because we don't know how they're numbering things. Written by David Pepose, art by Jonathan Lau. So the Space Ghost, the Space Ghost creative team basically. Colors by Andrew Dahlhaus and letters by Taylor Esposito. Like I said, the Space Ghost creative team. I had to catch up with at least 2 books of Space Ghost to read this issue, and I'm not saying that, because, well, I'm saying that because partly because we weren't really getting them in a very timely manner, but also it's like, oh right, a lot of books have been coming out, so there is a whole thing. I will answer that question in a minute because that would be a funny question. Nothing's come out about that, at least as far as I know. But anyway, I'm waiting for Team Force, honestly, and I asked David Pepose about that on Twitter, or yeah, was it Twitter? I might have been on Twitter about that, and he was like, "Man, I would love to," because there has been a couple of things about Space Ghost that kind of set up the Team Force to come between Team Force and Herculoids to be a thing, and I'm like, bring them on. But anyway, like I said, Space Ghost Annual number 4, and so I would not read this if you are not caught up on Space Ghost, which has been 12 issues at this point, because basically what happens from the last couple of issues, especially issue 12, feeds right into this issue. So spoiler alert, at this point we've had 12 issues and a lot of Space Ghost's Rogues Gallery has shown up. Well, they all end up being collected together in the Council of Doom, and thanks to Robocore. But that was, of course, a plot to get Blip, who has an acronym for his name because he's a very important chimp. In thanks to this version and Robocore's interactions with him. But he's in the hands of Robocore, and so Space Ghost and the kids go and get him out, and also basically disrupt what Robocore is doing, because Space Ghost in this universe has a very much a hate on for Robocore for probably good reasons. We don't know, but also this is like I said, this is a more rough and tumble Space Ghost than the old cartoons were. Like this is basically almost. I haven't read Absolute Batman, but I think that's probably the closest I would come to this version of Space Ghost. In that, like I'm just gonna fight, and I'm mad. So that's kind of the whole situation here. But like I said, this annual is kind of them dealing with the whole RoboCorp plot thing and getting Blip back. Spoiler alert, there may be a computer that's trying to take over the universe, to take over the galaxy by infecting everybody type situation called the Collective. That old chestnut. And at the end of this issue, we get we get a little tease as to what's something that is going to into what they're calling season 2, because at the end of the book they're calling the next because this volume of Space Ghost, I guess, is over with, or this season of Space Ghost is over with now. So they're starting fresh with a new number 1, and it's called Space Ghost Season 2. And I'm not sure when we're gonna get that, but it's probably somewhere soon. And it's pretty much there's a little bit of setup as to what's going to be dealt with, including definitely some new lore for the kids. And you get to see Space Ghost out of uniform, which granted, if you've read the Space Ghost before, you've already get to see that, because they've given him more lore than the cartoons ever did. But it's weird to see Space Ghost in plain clothes. It's kind of funny. Von Gloom asks, when are we getting Birdman or Galaxy Trio? I think we would have a better chance of getting the Teen Force, which technically is the Galaxy Trio, but afterwards, before we get Galaxy Trio. I could be wrong about that, but who knows? Birdman, you know what? It's kind of funny because I cannot read Space Ghost without hearing Space Ghost, like the sound bite you heard prior to, but also in some weird fashion, Birdman. So, and not Birdman from the rapper Birdman, not definitely not that Birdman. For some of you younger folks, think Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, because that's a show I've never really watched, but I know some of y'all youngsters probably did. Either way, that is Space Ghost Annual number 1. Next up, though, we're going to go to... I read pretty much everything but a whole lot of Marvel this week, because there's a lot of Marvel books that I am kind of behind on. Team Force had better powers and wasn't a sausage party. Yeah, of course. You know, who didn't like Elektra, right? Right. But anyway, next book. Mr. Terrific, Year 1, number 3 of 6. Script by Al Letson, art by Valentine Delandro and Edwin Gallman, colors by Marissa Louise and Edwin Gallman, and letters by Lucas Gattoni. So this is, as the name suggests, this is the beginnings. Well, so this is doing 2 things. We see present Mr. Terrific dealing with the issue that pretty much makes him flash back to the early days of him being Mr. Terrific, because there was a piece of tech that he had a hand in making that has cropped back up in the present. So he's kind of dealing with that in the present, but then we get flashbacks to him in the past as he's becoming Mr. Terrific. In fact, we pretty much get his first fight as Mr. Terrific, not necessarily in the costume that you would know him from, but in a kind of a version from him. As a matter of fact, if you're watching the video version, you can see, excuse me, wrong way. You can see the version that he has on, you know, a prototype version of what he will end up wearing, you know, but it still has fair play. So that's the one thing you have to worry about, because it's Mr. Terrific. We get a appearance by a Superman villain. Some would argue his arch enemy, his main arch enemy. You pretty much might know who that is, especially if you've watched the recent movie of Superman. So he kind of pops in because he knows the bad guy that is running around here. Some things kind of pop off because of his dealings, which, you know, we're kind of getting into the core of what Terrific had to kind of deal with. We even get a first self-naming of Mr. Terrific, because as he goes into his first fight, which kind of, spoiler alert, doesn't go well, he names himself Mr. Terrific, but he had already, you know, that had already been set up. I still need to go back and read that Spectre book that he came out in, because from the last issue pretty much kind of retold that stuff, but I had never read it, so I just want to check it out for myself. Which reminds me of something I hope to bring up later with the DC Infinite, their Marvel Unlimited type service. Matter of fact, I'll say it now. There's a code out there. If SDCC 2025, I believe, is the code name. If you want, they're not a sponsor. Don't at me about, oh, you're just shilling. No, I'm not. I'm just saying, if you want to check that out. But it's for their Ultra monthly service. So go figure on that. But if you want to check it out, like I think I'm about to, then you can you know, use that code. In fact, I'm about to look it up again. Yes, SDCC25 is the code from what I'm seeing here. In fact, I'm going to pop this up. I bet you I don't have the news section. I do not. So there you go. I'll have to do something about that in a little bit, but that's okay. So yeah. SDCC 25, if you want to claim that over. Again, not a sponsor, so chill. But anywho's, I could have sworn I had a solo news shot, and I do not. But we'll get to that in a minute, because that'll be a second. But yeah, Mr. Terrific. Von Gloom says Mr. Terrific needs his own nemesis. Yeah, I guess so. I can't imagine who they would pair him up with, honestly, because I mean, or they create somebody new for him. So yeah, I guess it would probably be a Lex Luthor-like situation. I don't know, but he's also kind of a danger to himself, as we will talk about in the next book that I'm going to talk about. Well, not a danger to himself. You get a couple of Mr. T references in here, or at least one Mr. T reference in here, and a Rakim reference for the title of this issue, which shout out to Al Letson for that. Yeah, that was a great one to see. But yeah, oh yeah, and also Mr. The Terrific also gets transported to some place that he went to in a flash book, which they give the footnote about. So therein lies that for anybody who's interested. As a few other things coming up, and it seems like we might be getting a guest appearance by a certain Bat in the next issue, if a certain thing that happens in this issue is to be believed, and something that happened that or not something that happened, but what was intimated at the last part of this book, or in the preview for the next issue of this book. So oh my, I need a Mr. T and Mr. Terrific mashup now. I just bought the Mr. T cartoon series because, or not just, actually this was a while ago. So I'm going to have to revisit. That's kind of something I want to put on, do something like that in the Discord, which no one knows about except for Von Gloom and a couple other people. But, we ain't ready to go wide on that just yet anyway. Done by Mike Del Mundo like he did with Tupac and Bishop. That would be cool. That would be cool, especially with Del Mundo doing the joint. But anyway, let me get on to the next book, because like I said, I've still got many miles to go before we can sleep, and started late. Justice League Unlimited is my next book, and insert Justice League theme here. There you go. Anyway, I don't have that one on me, but hey. Let's see. Written by Mark Waid, art by Dan Mora, colors by Tamara Bonvillain, and letters by Dave Sharp. So this is an epilogue to that whole We Are Yesterday thing. And things are still kind of popping off, or as I say in my notes, are still in flux, because so as we have it right now, because of Grodd and the fight with the League and everything, and Airwave being missing, which has really broken up Mr. Terrific for weird reason. Well, it's not a weird reason if you think about Mr. Terrific, but it's a weird reason. It's like, why do you care that much type of situation? But there's a lot of things going on in this book, including some things that are probably going to spin off into other books, or at least seems like it's going to spin off into those, because that's pretty much what this book is doing anyway. It's like, hey, this thing pops up in this book, goes into, say, The Flash or Challengers or some other book, and they'll deal with it there. So that's probably that. But basically, there are a whole bunch of time-lost heroes and looks like maybe some villains also that are popping in and out. So they're still trying to get a handle on that. They can't send folks home in the normal means like they would, because that's kind of screwed up at this point. But like I said, people are still popping in and out, all willy and nilly. But some are still there. And so the Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman are off kind of doing a thing, which we see kind of what they get into at the end of this issue, while the rest of the League is trying to deal with the situation, and Grodd, and apparently there's a couple of people, let me check my notes, called the Time Trapper and the World Forger kind of come into play, which apparently the Time Trapper is an iteration of Doomsday, a later iteration of Doomsday. As they said in this book. I don't know. I don't know that much of, me and DC, we're kind of arms apart. So there's not a whole lot of DC stuff that I know, ingrained in my memories. So you have to forgive me for that. I'm more of a Marvel guy. But yeah, they show up and talking about, hey, we need to dissect Grodd. And the League's like, nah, we can't let you do that. So of course, fight happens. It tends to happen, but things kind of get taken care of on that front. That whole situation with Airwave kind of gets taken care of also. And like I said, it's at the end of this issue. That's funny. Yeah, he must have went forward through time and got some of that Ozempic, because yeah, he didn't lost a lot of weight. But and apparently, so according to this issue, this I don't know what the universe, I can't remember what the prime universe is, but apparently this universe, the DC universe as it stands in this book, and I guess at large, has been disconnected from the multiverse thanks to something that happened in Absolute Power. I have not read the Absolute Power, so I don't know. I need to go back and check that out, I guess, because apparently a lot of shit has happened because of Absolute Power. Go freaking figure, man. But yeah, so apparently they're disconnected from the whole multiverse at large, but yet people are still kind of popping in and out from time and different, whatever. Including the Batman Superman fusion from Batman Superman from a couple of arcs ago. So that's kind of funny. But either way, like I said, we'll get into what the Trinity is getting into next issue. And also, apparently, there's going to be a Justice League Dark book that's going to come out fairly soon that's going to deal with the whole time lost people situation, or it seems like it will either way. So maybe that's what some people broke off to go and do, as we have seen in this issue. And now we get to the next book. This is kind of what I've been waiting for, folks. New History of the DC Universe number 2 of 4 is the next book that I'm talking about. Written by Mark Waid with art by Brad Walker and Michael Allred. Colors by Trish Mulvihill, and Laura Allred, with letters by Todd Klein. So this is, if y'all did not know, this is the X-Men Grand Design like retelling of the history of the DC Universe. This is supposedly this is it. This is like the cemented in canon, timeline basically for the DC Universe. And if you've read X-Men Grand Design, you kind of know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, well, it's basically there's no actual time stamps, but yes, that Mike all read and Laura all read. So yes. So yeah, so this is basically a beat by beat telling of how, you know, the chronological order of the DC universe. So it's like, and matter of fact, this book starts off with the hey, you know, an alien comes from Krypton. His name, you know, he will become Clark Kent and become Superman. Da 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 da. Then Batman and Wonder Woman and a few other folks from the League also around the same time. And then it gets to some of their rogues gallery, and then a whole bunch of teams, you know, in whatever timeline. The thing I did not find that I found that I did not know, which is granted is a lot, because like I just said, DC Universe, me and you know, a little sketchy on that stuff. Aquaman had a son prior to the new kid now. I did not know that, and apparently got dealt with by Black Manta, which explains a whole lot of their beef. I did not know this before reading this issue, but and we get into a whole bunch of, you know, basically mentions a whole bunch of other characters that, you know, hey, you know, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Nubia, Warlord, Black Lightning, Justice League Formation, the first Wally West. So they basically said, hey, here's when the first Wally West comes in, by the way. So, you know, and a bunch of other people and groups, you know, Justice Society, Justice League Formation, etc., etc., etc. So you had to read it for yourself to kind of get all of that. Now, the thing that I've, just like I said the last time we talked about this issue or this book, yeah, Manta, yeah. So, but the thing that I was waiting for this book to start touching on happens at the end of this book. They start talking about the first crisis, which is Crisis on Infinite Earth, even going into what happens. So also, Barry Allen is the one that's narrating this whole thing. So, which makes sense because, you know, if anyone who would, you know about time travel in DC Universe, probably at this point would be Barry Allen. So that makes sense. And it gets to, like I said, it stops pretty much, I guess, in the resolution of Crisis on Infinite Earths. So you got that. And going in, and again, the 4 issues of this. So this is number 2 of 4. So this is supposedly going to just run through the whole DC history up until a certain point till now. We don't know where the stopping point is, but we'll find that out when we get to 4. In the Justice League cartoon, Aquaman saved him at the cost of his hand. Right, I remember that, but I thought that was the kid now. But in the comics, he had died thanks to Black Manta. Got it. Okay, cool. Because I thought the kid from the Justice League cartoon was basically this kid now, but before this kid kind of came up. I don't remember. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. Either way, this new history of the DC Universe is out there. Catch it. You know, like I said, it is. I don't know what you would expect from a book like this outside of kind of what, you know, what they are retelling here. That is supposedly the main canon for the universe now, and that seems to be what we're getting. But now, once it started, now that it's opened the door to crises, now we're going to see how they handle the rest of this mess. The current one is a girl, yes. That's what I'm saying. I don't remember if the one from the cartoon was a girl or a boy, but I thought it was the same kid. Either way, we're going to move on to my next book, and next to last book, actually. Again, like I said, there's a... Yes, that is correct. I can't remember the kid's name, though. But either way, West Coast Avengers number 9, written by Jerry Duggan, art by Danny Kim, color artist Arthur Hesley, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. So they just stopped calling Killer White Blue Bolt. They just said, screw it. You're just going to go by Killer Bolt from here on out. Which, you know what? This is the penultimate book, because I know West Coast Avengers is ending next issue. So they're basically wrapping stuff up. But either way, So the teams are kind of in a bad way because Scorched Ultron, as they're calling him, kind of, you know, taken out or dealt with a lot of the team, hurt a lot of the team, with the exception of Bluebird slash Kilowatt, who kind of did it to himself by breaking out because he's a kind of a felon, and because his pops got was getting threatened, you know, he took it upon himself to kind of be out and got hurt in the process, which I would imagine was probably, if this book was going to last longer than it did, they probably would have done a little bit more on, and probably would have actually, you know, dealt with that situation slightly differently than just saying, sort of like, hey, I was supposed to do this thing for Hydrocap, and now I'm telling you all this. So, and this was, and another thing, this is another issue where, like, hey, Tony came clean about a thing to the Ultron that was on the team. That was kind of a thing that was kind of out there. I assumed that was a thing that was going to come out at some point, or maybe not. I don't know. Again, I know sometimes these books are like, hey, we know where the book's going to end if it needs to, or, you know, or at the very least the arc or whatever is going to end if we need to, if the book happens to die off. And sure enough, the book is dying off, which is kind of a shame because it was kind of cool. But Spider-Woman kind of has a Spider-Man moment. I won't go into what that is for a second. The team kind of gets back on their feet just a little bit, and Firestar's back. So, yeah, going into the last issue, it's all hands on deck. And even, you know, someone says the thing that an Avengers, someone a part of an Avengers thing would say. So therein lies that going into the next issue. What was I going to say? Maybe there might be a new Wonder Man figure coming out of this based on the way he's dressed also. We don't know. I doubt it very seriously. But yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, if you're watching the video version and you can see the cover, while that particular instance doesn't happen, not that far off from something that happens in the book. I know that's a slight spoiler, but it's right there on the cover. So, I mean, like I said, that doesn't happen, but something not too far off. If you want to know what it is, read the book. Let's see. Von Gloom says the cartoon was a boy, but his sister was a hero instead of him in the Batman Beyond future. Okay. Oh, well, I assume you mean like actual Batman Beyond and not like the prologue from the Justice League cartoon. Or maybe you are, I don't know. Some hussy named Paula stole her longtime redhead partner, Mark James. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about with that last bit. But, oh man. And now you got me thinking of Paula J. Parker for some reason. But then again, yeah. Anyway, last book that I'm going to talk about is Doom's Division number 5 of 5. That's right, folks. That is that. Written by Yoon-Ha Lee. Oh, it's the Spider-Woman Spider-Man moment. No, not quite that. Not quite that. Okay, it took me a second. No, that would be funny if something like that would happen. Maybe in another universe that would have happened. But Doom's Division number 5 of 5. Yeah. I know about the whole Paul situation. I got that, but yeah, I wasn't. I am trying not to think about that at all. So you'll have to forgive me for not having that in my brain, like at the ready. So yeah, but I'm aware of the current status of MJ. But anyway, written by Doom's Division number 5 of 5 is written by Yoon-Ha Lee with art by Mikyu Jung, color artist Mateo Iacona, letters by VC's Travis Lanham. So yeah, this is the last issue for this book. There's a swerve that happens because of, well, what we found out in this book with a White Fox and her seeming portrayal of the team. uh, against the regime of the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Doom. But like I said, turns out there's a swerve that happens, but it's the basically, hey, you know, the team's excuse me, the team's time in One World Under Doom has come to an end, and quite possibly the team's time has possibly ended. As it says at the end of the book, is an end or a beginning? Who's to know? But I suspect they'll probably show up, you know, because One World Under Doom is still going on. In fact, will be going on, I think, probably until definitely next month. So, which is weird because that whole X-Men thing has already started, which I need to go back and you know, read that whole situation. But yeah, man, for Marvel's to say, hey, no more, you know, no more events on events. They sure are doing a lot of events on events, but they said line-wide events. That's where their caveats was. They're still doing other events in parts of the world, which may or may not overlap with the big event or not. But it's still silly. But regardless, so yeah, the team kind of tries to deal with what they thought was the case with White Fox, and come to find out, you know what, things were not quite everything that it seemed to be, and you know, their other real mission may be starting as this book is ending. I mean, Volume says feels like One World Under Doom is dragging. I mean, dragging in the fact that they had already slated the fact that it was going to be 3 months. Sure, because they pretty much said on the onset of like, no, this is going to be like a 3-month thing. So, feels, oh, it's definitely longer than Blood Hunt. Absolutely, absolutely. So, but again, this is a line-wide event, and that was I guess technically it kind of was a line-wide event also, but I don't know, man. Like I said, it's weird because both Marvel and DC was like, yeah, we're not doing this whole event on event, but they're both still doing event on event kind of situations. You know, we talked about the new DC event that's coming up at some point, you know, down the line soon. But at least it's spaced out a little bit more than what Marvel's doing at this point, which, yeah, that's kind of a bother. Either way, that is Doom's Division number 5, and that is the end of my books. I did not get a chance to read Storm this week because I'm still not caught up, but I know things are going on there. I will do my best to try to get caught up on that before the next time Storm comes out, and whatnot, because I enjoyed Storm. I got taken off of it because of events, honestly, and that kind of what's happened. Actually, what happened was that X-Men event, when Uncanny and X-Men started, and Adjectives started, that whole book, and I mean that whole thing happened, and she was a part of that. So I got to catch up on all 3 of those books because of that. I lost the thread on it. So, excuse me, folks. Apologies for that. So that's why I didn't read Storm, but I am going to get into Kliqs of the week. Jun, because I'm not sure if I even have that stinger. I probably do, and I need to line these up a little bit better, honestly. I really do. So anyway, but you'll probably, if you're listening to the podcast, you'll probably hear it over. You probably have heard it at this point. So yeah, Kliqs of the week. Yeah, X-Man Hunt. There you go. So yeah, potential Kliqs of the week for me. Space Ghost Annual number 1. That is definitely one of them. I didn't also get to read Dr. Afro. I could have before I started the show, but I didn't. I did not. But Space Ghost Annual is a potential Kliq. West Coast Avengers is a potential. Void Rivals also potential, I guess. Yeah, Void Rivals also potential. Let's see. Justice League number 9 actually is a potential click of the week. I think I can pretty safely put that in there. Captain Planet actually also. Captain Planet and Planeteers number 2 is also a potential click of the week. And while I mull that over, I'm going to answer Von Gloom's question and says, well, still is relative because she did not have a book up until recently. Because once that last volume of, matter of fact, once that whole bounty hunter situation, that event in Star Wars universe, side of the universe kind of ended, she did not have a book this whole time. And then Star Wars and Darth Vader ended, and they're giving them, and I think this is just this is a miniseries, so it's not an ongoing, by the way, that Dr. Aphra book. If I'm not mistaken, it is a miniseries. I can't remember actually. It might be an ongoing, but yeah. But she does have a book, and she hadn't had a book in a minute, so. Which I'm glad, because I like that character. That character's pretty good. Why does Luthor look like Mr. Bean in Mr. You know what? That's kind of funny you mentioned that. In Mr. Terrific, that's supposed to be. So supposedly that's like, I am pretty much assuming like 80s version of Luthor, so like 78, so which was kind of patterned after 78 Superman around that time. So I think that's what they were kind of going with that version that shows up, because that part of the story was in the past. So that's probably why he looks like that. I find it kind of funny the way he looked. It was like, yeah, they're really kind of going for that 78 Superman Lex Luthor look, which was kind of funny to me. But yeah, it was a choice. That's all I can say. But for my click of the week, Silverhawks was also good by the by, but that's probably not going to make the cut. Uncanny came out this week. I didn't get a chance to read that. Storm came out this week. I didn't get a chance. Right. The Gene Hackman Luthor. Let's see. I know if Agent 70 was here, he would have probably read that Moon Knight book, and I did not. And would have probably also read Amazing, because I'm very much behind on that book. But yeah. There was also a couple of Fantastic Four related books. There was a Fantastic Four fanfare, and then there was like a reprint of that Franklin Richards' Son of a Genius book. I can't imagine why either one of those would have come out recently. I can't imagine why. Kind of a wonder. Oh, Runaways also came out this week, but I didn't read the first one, and that's also One World Under Doom crossover, tie-in, whatever. Not crossover, tie-in. So, Phoenix also came out this week, but again, also not up on that book, but I think Agent 70 is. So I think it's probably either going to be Space Ghost or Justice League for me at this point. Don't think much happened in X-Men. I still want to catch up though, because like I said, I want to at the very least get caught up with what's going on there. So. Von Gloom says, I miss Pepper Larraz on Spider-Man. Yeah, I can see that. You know what? Actually, Captain Planet would probably also be in that running. But I'm going to actually go for Von Gloom says, Runaways is pretty much aggro chase, making everyone sad. Okay. Yeah. I want to actually go back and read Runaways, because that is a book I did not read, put it that way. Like I kind of skimmed a book when it was a part of an event or something, but I never actually read the original run fully to say that I read. And actually, I put that in the wrong place. All right. But yeah, Space Ghost Annual number 1 is going to be my click of the week. And apologize. I'm going to have a lot of editing to do. And I hate it. I hate it for myself. Because I was thinking, well, Agent 70 isn't not here, so I won't have to do much editing. Turns out, still do. I'm bummed. Either way, and not because of him, but because of both of us. Because it would have taken longer to edit with the way things usually go. And speaking of the way things usually go, we're going to go into the news section. But first, a rare unprecedented Roddykat airing of the yeah, folks, buckle up. I'm going to do an ad read. And actually, I totally forgot to pick out what ad read I was going to do. Actually, I did pick out which ad read I was going to do first, and that is Funko, Fun at First Sight, your home for exclusive collectibles, apparel, and brand merchandise. And now, for the listeners of the Comic Book Chronicles, you can enjoy 10% off your entire purchase when shopping at Funko. To place your first order with 10% off, and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us, that's cspn.us, then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down to the Funko link and place your order. When you get to the checkout, put in the offer code SHOP10, that's all one word, SHOP 10, 10, there you go. Not the 10 part, just the 10, for your 10% off discount. I realize I might be replacing this. Funko, through cspn.us, do it today. Ching! And now it's time for the news. None of which I can find. This is... Oh, wait. Bear with me for one moment, folks, as I do this. There we go. We're just going to have to deal with that right there and that there. And we're going to move this out of the way, too. Ha! Live podcasting, folks. You got to love it. It is the same writer, so she is following up where she did the last series in it. Gotcha. Right. Understood. But, folks, cinematic news, as we do about this time. And I guess it's appropriate because Captain Planet is getting a live-action adaptation from Netflix and Big Bang Theory vet, according to this article. So per deadline, Netflix has landed the rights for a live-action series based on Captain Planet and Planeteers. Y'all know what it is. Tara Hernandez, Mrs. Davis, and the Big Bang Theory, I don't know who that is writing the adaptation. The series comes from Greg Berlanti's Berlanti Productions, because of course it does. Leonardo DiCaprio's Appian Way, and Warner Brothers Television. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised by, at the very least, yeah, some of that being involved in this. And of course, this article kind of goes into the history of Captain Planet. But y'all know Captain Planet. He's a hero. Going to take pollution down to zero. Y'all know the deal. So, and we also know that they've been trying to do a Captain Planet live action thing for the longest, almost as long as Mask. And some might cite that Funny or Die thing with Don Cheadle. I think that was a Funny or Die thing. But either way, you know, in reference to also, but yeah, there you go. So that's the thing. No word on. There's also talking about adaptations, and there's also talks about that Don Cheadle thing that I just mentioned. So there you go, bam. Von Gloom says One Piece was a fluke. I don't know about that, but I'll take your word for that. Netflix live action suck. I will definitely go along with that, even though I have only partially watched a couple of them. So, but next up. Let's see. So yeah, I guess a slight spoiler alert, but not really for Fantastic Four. Marvel is honoring its history with a unique Fantastic Four cameo featuring the cast of an unreleased 90s movie, and I believe this is from that Corman movie that was technically wasn't a release. Oh no, it's not that one. Let's see. There was also, so in addition to the last couple of Fantastic Four movies, excuse me, the last 3 Fantastic Four movies, because I never did see 2015. Yes, this is the Roger Corman movie. So this movie was directed by Oli Sassoon and executive produced by Roger Corman and Bernard Eichinger. It never saw the light of day, but you know that it's out there. Yes, the Corman film. It's out there on YouTube if you want to check that out. By the by, it is not good, but it's worth watching because it's not good. It's a Roger Corman drawing. If you know anything about Roger Corman stuff, then you know what in the world is this playing. Okay, I need to stop that. Like, is that an Expanse game? Because that looks cool. Either way, yeah, so it never officially came out, but it's out there if you know how to find it. Let's see. And has faced accusations of being an ashcan copy, aka made solely to keep the rights. But now the 4 stars of the film are getting their time to shine because I think they cameoed in the film. So I don't remember seeing it, or no, Corman didn't write it. At least I don't think Corman wrote it, but just produced it as far as I know. His hand is all over it regardless. Roger Corman barely rates barely above Troma Films. That's kind of harsh, but probably true. Also, there's a Galactus head popcorn bucket out there that I saw in the wild, and that thing is pricey. But also, I kind of want it, but I'm not that big of a Galactus fan to procure that. So anyway, but yeah, apparently all the 4 actors from that Corman Fantastic Four film have a cameo in this new cameo. I had seen rumbles of them. I think they were even at the recent premiere for the movie. So, matter of fact, they were. Now that I think about it, because I remember seeing pictures of them, and they still look pretty good. So yeah. Go figure. So if you can spot them in the movie, if and when you go see it, which you heard, hey, good luck to you. But yeah, the Fantastic Four first steps is out there, man. You can catch it. Next up, though, even though Avengers Doomsday has been filming for 3 months, Marvel boss Kevin Feige says the script is still being worked on. And me reading this reminds me of something that happened in the movie theater, but I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, so apparently, Doomsday is still in production, but apparently, at a press event, Feige denied that Marvel has ever started a movie without a full script, but did say that he's, quote, whether he's never happy with a script or even finished movie. Instead, he says that he and Marvel preferred plussing at every turn. In fact, there's plussing occurred during Avengers Doomsday as we speak. And if I didn't say Avengers Doomsday the first time, that's what I meant. So there's plussing happening every day. This is a quote on Avengers Doomsday set right now, and it's amazing to watch because of what those filmmakers, those actors, both the ones that are playing these characters for the first or second time and the ones playing them for the 10th or 12th time, are the best in the world at it and know these characters so well, according to the Feige said to Hollywood Reporter. So if they have an idea, you want to listen to it and you want to adjust to it and you want to improve it. I wouldn't want to change that. So, and apparently Michael Waldron from Loki and Doctor Strange is doing some script work with Stephen McFeeny on the script. So yeah, there's a whole lot of things going on there. Yeah, Bong Gloom says, yeah, they were at the premiere along with the read from the Tim story. Yes, dude was there. I said, it was looking all right, too. It was like, all right, seen that dude. I think he's got a show out right now on some things, so he's not. So he's still working, so that's good. Either way, yeah, so that's that. Next up, though, apparently Marvel will recast the X-Men and reset the MCU after Avengers Secret Wars, says Feige. And apparently there's a quote here that says, reboot is a scary word. I mean, it is, but that's probably what it is. So, in conversations with several trade publications, including Variety, Feige pointed to the Secret Wars comics from 2015. Good choice. As the studio's inspiration for a reset of the MCU, because of course, makes sense. We are utilizing that story not just to round out the stories we've been telling post Endgame, just as importantly, and you can look at the Secret Wars comics for where that takes you. It very, very much sets us up for the future. And yeah, I mean, I doubt we're getting Thor's out of this whole situation, but man, that would be great if we did. But yeah, if they're using in-game to kind of reset and reboot, let's face it, it's a reboot. It's probably going to be a reboot, but and not a reset. But we're going to go by reset because that's what he's saying. In-game literally was about endings. Secret Wars is about the beginnings. So there you go, folks. Oh, he also clarified that the MCU's first X-Men movie is going to be directed by the Thunderbolts' Jake Schreier. Will be a reset, not a reboot of the MCU, like I said. Yeah, so reboot is a scary word. Reboot can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Reset, singular timeline. We're thinking along those lines. X-Men is where that's going to happen next. So, yeah, okay. And apparently, man, Thorcore would be so good. We all loved Thorcore when we were reading on this very show, in real time, the Secret Wars. That was probably the best book that came out of Secret Wars outside of the event itself. Because Thorcore was so good. If you don't know, it's basically the Thor and a bunch of other Thors as cops. Like it was pretty much a police procedural. It was so great. If you haven't had a chance to read Thor's from back in 2015 Secret Wars, you do yourself a favor. It was so good. Anyway, Kang wasn't big enough. Marvel already had planned Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom pivot before Jonathan Majors' departure. That's what they're calling it. Kevin Feige claims, and that is a claim because I doubt that very seriously. That's just me. So Feige has discussed Marvel's decision to replace Kang as the main villain and said talks with MCU legend Robert Downey Jr. to play Dr. Doom had begun before the departure of Jonathan Majors. So speaking during a roundtable interview that was intended, this is all coming from Hollywood Reporter. So there you go. Feige said that the pivot away from Kang has started before what had happened to the actual happened. Well, what had happened to the actor happened, quote, end quote, referencing Majors, what happened. We all know what happened then. It's with white woman. But anyway, ultimately saw him convicted of assault, even though, never mind, now he's a former drug abuser, but hey, without referencing Majors by name, Feige said that y'all know what happened. Either way, so yeah, apparently he's saying that they had already started. They wasn't even thinking about that before. Thinking about Kang before what happened, and I'm still probably one of the few people who don't like the fact that Downey's back, much less as Dr. Doom. And I'm hoping that leading to a very different person playing Doom. But yeah. Wagner says even Throg got a major role. Yes. Majors ended with something good in the end. I see you. It's real good. That's good. That's a great pun, sir. I like it. Ship it. Anyway, so yeah, that's the whole thing, I guess. I mean, no one knows but he and the select few in the circle whether that was actually the case or whether it just so happens that what happened and they did a, they did a Hail Mary. So, sure. Excuse me. I'm going to be taking several sips of water during this whole thing. Black Panther animated spinoff Eyes of Wakanda now set to premiere more than 3 weeks earlier, apparently. So, let's see. All 4 episodes of the series will premiere on August 27th. Boo. Oh, wait. 3 weeks. So, I thought it was already going to be in August. And in fact, I thought it was going to be around a certain specific day in August, but we're not going to talk about that. But apparently, oh, wait. So, it's going to be on August 1st. So, the beginning of next month. And which is only a couple of days from now, by the by. It's only next week. Only next a week from today, or a week from, I guess, when I started recording, because it's after midnight. So all 4 episodes of the series will premiere on that day and will be available to watch on Disney Plus, of course. So yeah, they really haven't advertised much of that show at all, and that doesn't necessarily make me worried for the quality of the show. That makes me worried about why they chose to bump it up, because just like with Ironheart, it was not in the way of anything. Next Friday, next week Friday. So it was not in the way of anything, and even when it was originally going to happen, it wasn't in the way of anything. So I don't understand why they're pushing it forward, and why it's only 4 episodes, but that's just me. Let's see. And according to this, so I was going to read the what it says the premise of the show was, but I'm not going to do that, because, and even if you know what it is, it's irrelevant, because we'll see it when we see it, because it's only next week apparently. So we might not be talking about it next week's show, depending on when we record. See, this is going to set the angry T'Challa fans into a frenzy. I doubt it. Maybe to avoid being review bombed. I also doubt that also, because I was going to say review bombing is toothless now, but it's only toothless for certain things. But and that's a whole other thing, because I have never liked the fact that Rotten Tomatoes was a bigger deal as what it is, or Metacritic, or any of the other things. So that's stupid, because it can be gamed and review bombed. So that's why I've never liked those situations. But they go with it like it's gospel, and that makes no sense, and that's sad. It makes no sense whatsoever. But either way, so yeah, next week, so probably a week after next, we will probably talk about Eyes of Wakanda. They're doing that to fuck with us. That's what they're doing. I see you, Marvel. I'm just kidding. They're not. No. Also, review coming out on a Friday. That's also weird, because usually stuff comes out on a Wednesday. Well, it was a Wednesday. Shout out to Daylaw. Anyway, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse also has been delayed. I say also, as the last thing was a delay, but apparently it has been pushed to June 4th. Wait a minute, hold on. So the third entry in the animated Spider-Verse franchise will now open in theaters on June 25th, 2027, instead of the previously announced June 4th, 2027. So basically, it's doing a push the other way. So, for whatever reason, and I guess they still got to do some stuff on that. Which, you know what, take the time, folks. We want that to end strong. Let's see. They talk about who's directing it, and the screenplay, and the producers, and all that kind of jazz, and yada yada yada. So yeah, the filmmaker said at CinemaCon in April that their already delayed film needed time to make sure they got it right, and that's what we want. So I'm okay with them taking a little bit more time to get it right, quote unquote. Bunglim says, I lost interest in the Spider-Verse film. Oh man, those are good films. So I don't know, but to each his own. Everything is not for everything. Speaking of Miles Morales, and speaking of the Spider-Verse, Marvel has been told to stay away from quote unquote, stay away from using Miles Morales in the MCU until the Spider-Verse trilogy wraps up. So technically, and I don't know why that is. Well, I know why that is because Sony's got Spider-Man license and Miles is in that. It's caught up in that. So, and the Spider-Verse films are a Sony and not, Sony mostly with a Marvel license. So I get it, but it's still stupid. So we have to wait until after 2027 to see Miles in the MCU when we could have had him for Secret Wars. They could have been setting him up for Secret Wars. Because let's face it, Miles was kind of a, I'm not gonna say integral part of Secret Wars, but he was a fairly decent part of Secret Wars 2015 for reasons. Like I said, read Secret Wars, it's good. It's not bad. The wait is just too long. Yeah, I get that. I get that, but I'm still wanting it. I'm still waiting for it. Still looking for it. So, like I said, let them get it right. Let them get it out there and get it out right. So it can end strong. I'm not mad with that. But yeah, apparently, let's see. And this is talking to Feige and that Hollywood Reporter thing again. So, yeah. The quote is, Sony has their brilliant, genius, incredible Spider-Verse animated franchise going, and until that finishes, we've been told to stay away. Imagine being told to stay away from your own property. I know it's a licensing thing, but imagine. Just imagine. But it could have been worse. We could have had Marvel's old, let people do anything licensing thing. At least they got a rein in all of that, but this is still kind of silly. Either way, John Stamos to voice Howard Stark in Marvel's Iron Man and his awesome films. Have mercy. Guest cast and trailer revealed. So yeah, Uncle Jesse is playing Howard Stark. Film at 11, but not really, let's see. And it was the cast. Oh, so additionally joining the series in guest roles are J.K. Harry. All right, go ahead, Sandra. ESPN sportscaster Jessica Mendoza, Stephen Tobolowsky, Lauren Tom, y'all should know that name, Gary Anthony Williams, and Mo Collins. So a lot of those names are known if you frequent animated spots or whatever. So the series is set to premiere on August 11th on Disney Junior, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. And later that day on Disney Channel, the first 10 episodes will be available on Disney Plus in the U.S. and select international markets and Disney Junior on demand on following day, Tuesday, August 12th. So there you go. You know what? I'm not even going to read that statement you just made, but that's some funny shit. F that dude. That's all I'm gonna say. Benedict Cumberbatch ate 5 meals a day to play Doctor Strange. Why? Says Hollywood is grossly wasteful, quote unquote. It's horrific eating beyond your appetite. I could feed a family with the amount that I made. First of all, Stephen Strange is not that big before I even get into this. So why did he have to eat 5 meals a day? And he chose to do it, by the by, because that check, them checks cash. So he wasn't too broken up about it. But either way, Benedict Cumberbatch called. So it says here, let's see, says, while Cumberbatch loved undergoing a body transformation for his work, he also says it's horrific eating beyond your appetite. Going back to responsibility and resourcefulness and sustainability, it's just like, what am I doing? I can feed a family with the amount of what I'm eating, as he was doing it, I guess. So yeah, 5 meals a day while getting into Doctor Strange shape. Again, it's not like Stephen Strange was ever like brolic. So why? And the damn sure didn't show. I mean, if you see this picture, it really is a comeback built like the machinist. Yes. I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to mention that, and I totally forgot dude's name. Bale. I think, yeah, wasn't that Bale? Christian Bale? Who also does shit like that. I mean, fucking what's his face also does it. Hugh Jackman also did it for Wolverine. So I mean, this is no stranger for people kind of bulking up for roles like this, but it's still what was I don't get it. Also, rest in peace to Kenneth Washington, the last surviving member of Hogan's Heroes. That has nothing to do with comic books, but you know, I watched me some Hogan's Heroes back in the day. Not to have anything to do with any other. That's the only Hogan we're talking about right now. That's the only one. We're not going to talk about the one, you know. We ain't talking about the other one. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Fuck that other one. Either way, you know that should be a recipe, but it's not. It won't be ever. So yeah, Wells Bale. That's what I thought. I don't understand that. I don't understand that one either, Von Gloom, because I'm like, I don't see what he got bulked up for, honestly. But whatever. Disney Plus launches new throwback channel with animated classics. I guess in a way, yes. I guess we are. And you can print that quote. I guess. So I know Iron Sheik's kind of wild himself, but you know, sometimes the best kind of I don't know. Either way, because that dude's been wild. Yes, that's the unofficial official stance. So, yeah. So where was that? Yeah. So Disney Plus launching a channel with animated classics. It's called Disney Plus Throwbacks. It's a 24/7 channel that Disney Plus subscribers can access right now, by the way. Airing some of those shows that helped put the Disney afternoon on the map. Series on the newly launched channel includes DuckTales, woo, Chippendales Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, Gargoyles, which I still need to watch, Recess. Put Fillmore on the damn channel. Fillmore was a Disney thing, I know, but I mean, maybe that's a licensing thing. Regardless, let's see. Throwback will interject and ads into the mix, but the channel will also have other Disney properties outside of the animation realm. So That's a Raven, Buffy. Oh yeah, wait. I was gonna say Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I forgot. Disney owns Fox now. Gilmore Girls and Lizzie McGuire are all a part of the roster. So that's a weird mix. Also, all of this stuff you can find on, well, let me phrase that. Most of this stuff, the DuckTales and all that stuff, you can definitely find on Disney Plus already, so you don't necessarily need a streaming channel for that. But hey, if you like me, sometimes like to pop in and like to have something on for background noise or catch whatever Star Trek movie is on at the time, which is usually the same one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the others would definitely make sense. Well, Raven is the only one that makes sense because that was definitely Disney. The rest of those were Fox properties. Well, excuse me, and Lizzie McGuire, that was also a Disney thing, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, like I said, because of the fact that Fox is swallowed up by Disney, that's the only, they're going for a team thing. And also, they are doing that Buffy the Vampire. They're bringing that back out. So that's probably may or may not have something to do with it. Don't quote me on that because I don't know. But I mean, hey, Buffy was a good show. I mean, yeah, it's tied to the dude who made it, but and his nonsense. But you know, hey, what are you gonna do? Let's see. Oh, it's also saying that even outside of the Disney Afternoon Fair, the Throwback Channel also includes stuff like Doug, Kim Possible, and Lilo and Stitch the series, which also makes sense. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of stuff, but they were kid themed. Well, yes, Raven and Lizzie McGuire definitely was. Gilmore Girls, not so much. So, I mean, you can argue that doesn't really fit either, but at the same time, like I said, they're going for a tweenish type thing here with throwing them on there. But like I said, mostly Disney stuff. Yeah, Doug. Kim Possible. Once again, Disney properties. Makes sense. Like I said, this is they gotta, if this is going to be, like, it makes sense. This is going to be a streaming channel that streams every day. So they got to have something every day for 7 whole days. So whether they're going to do it like a whole channel thing, like a, like, here's the block for Doug, here's the block for Raven, here's the block for Kim Possible or DuckTales, or whatever. What do you mean, just remember? We talked about that previously, sir, and I told you I was already there, and yes, I believe she still is. I don't want to say that sentence out loud because this is technically a family show, but not really. Sorta, kinda. Also, Keith David, why? Anyway, I love Keith David, but why are you aligning yourself with that mess? Either way, I'm not going to talk about that either, but yeah, I'm spent way too much time talking about this streaming channel. Lauren Graham, folks. Star Wars reveals first still from Maul, Shadow Lord, and first look at Ezra Bridger from Ahsoka Season 2 at, of course, the Comic-Con of the San Diegos. Let's see. So yeah, if you're watching the video version, you can see the still there. Maul, Shadow Lord is going to be voiced again by Sam Witwer, of course, still. So there you go. And there is Imam Esfandi as Ezra Bridger, in the new costume for season 2, because if you remember first season, we know where he ended up. So there you go. Apparently, Hayden Christensen is also going to return as Anakin in season 2 of Ahsoka. I'm going to assume as Force Ghost. Yeah. And the first look at the new dude as Baylan Skoll, who was previously played by Ray Stevenson, who I've been watching. Speaking of those streaming channels, G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra, and Retaliation has been coming on those channels. And Ray Stevens was in that was in Rise of Cobra as Firefly. Rest in peace. So, and that's funny because I totally forgot that he was in that. Isn't Rebels after the final Obi-Wan Maul fight? I thought that was the final Obi-Wan Maul fight. Matter of fact, it was, because Obi-Wan and Maul's fight was in Rebels. Yeah, it absolutely was. It was in Rebels. So, because Maul. And as far as now, we don't know. I don't know what time frame this is. Oh wait, here we go. So, new series is set after the final season of Clone Wars, which is before Rebels, and we'll see Maul plotting to rebuild his criminal syndicate on a planet untouched by the Empire. So, it sounds like after Rebels. Excuse me. Before Rebels, after Clone Wars, before Solo. I want to say when this is going to take place, this Maul thing is going to take place. That's what it sounds like, because he did show up in Solo. I don't know. Whatever, man. Either way, yeah. And it also mentions Solo. So maybe it's after Solo also. So it's probably after Solo, but before Rebels, which would be, yeah. I don't know, man. Either way, it's going to happen regardless of whether we want it or not. And yeah, because I definitely remember the Obi-Wan Maul fight being in Rebels, so that one's one I can stick to. Yeah, it has to be before Solo. Well, because in Solo, yeah, because I think in Solo it was already established. So because he showed up at the end of that for some stupid reason, for the stupid reason. And yeah, there you go. So that was that. I don't know. So what we'll see in this thing, we'll see. Regardless, it's coming whether we want it or not, and we talked too much about it. Superman dominates second weekend with $57 million, bringing the box office total above $100 million. So yeah, that was from its second week. That I don't know what Fantastic Four did this week because it just started. In fact, the opening art was when I started recording his on a Friday night. So yeah, there you go. Yes, that is correct. He was the ultimate leader of the syndicate, or was it the Crimson? No, it was it was because I thought it was the Crimson Dawn or whatever it was. Because there was you know what, it doesn't matter because there's parts of that I was like I don't remember because it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, Superman continued to make money in the second week and probably this week also, but we'll have to see how Fantastic Four did when we get some numbers on that. Let's see. So apparently there was a different reason why Supergirl's cameo, spoiler alert, was in Superman. And it's not why you think, according to this article. So let's see. Speaking to Entertainment Weekly, Gunn explained that having Superman babysitting Kara's dog while, spoiler alert for Superman, by the way, sorry, babysitting Kara's dog while attempting to save the world, when in the meantime she's off having a good time. Well, she's getting belligerent is what she was doing, but was all a part of really hitting home his unending levels of empathy. The quote is, "But for me, the main reason for Kara showing up is to show that Superman not only risked his life to go save a dog that was his dog, which technically wasn't his dog, that what so many of us would do. He was watching the dog for somebody else. The dog is a pain in his ass. He didn't want to take the dog. She's off being irresponsible. He doesn't want to have to watch the dog. He's having to save the world every 2 seconds, and he still goes to the ends of the earth for that dog. To me, that's one of the most touching things in the movie. Earlier when Lois says it's just a dog, and he said, yeah, not even a very good one, but it's probably scared. It shows you the depths of his empathy. I find that so touching. Then when you find out at the end it's not even his dog, she just left it with him. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Superman was not, they were not worried about those dumbasses with anything. I mean, Gunn had already said, like, yeah, we wasn't even worried about review bombing because we'll be all right. And sure enough, yeah, it's doing just fine. So yeah, fuck those trolls, and yeah, those people are stupid and need to go bury themselves. So yeah, I need to read Supergirl World of Tomorrow because I don't know if what happened in that series, which is Tom King, I wouldn't be surprised. Is playing into, because I know that's what Gunn is using for the Supergirl movie. So, and that version of Supergirl. So, I need to go check that out. You say it's a damn Squirrel. How many heroes outside of Squirrel Girl would do that? I mean, there's probably more than you think. The Bat probably not, but you know, I would imagine there's more than you think would do so. I read it, but I don't remember it. I need to reread it. Yeah, like I said, I need to go check that out because we know that's what's going to be used in that's the source material. And I had not read it. I had intentions of reading it, but I never did. Next up, though, speaking of Supergirl, hey, guess what? Anna Noguera is going to pen, who is also writing Supergirl, is going to write the Wonder Woman reboots for Disney Studios. Because I guess if you got somebody built in that's going to write a woman, why not? My apologies, folks. I'm going to stop apologizing because it's going to continue happening. So yeah, it's been confirmed. Let's see. The writer is also reportedly set to write a live-action take on the Teen Titans for James Gunn, and so not only is she going to redo Wonder Woman, she's going to be taking on Teen Titans. And we haven't seen Supergirl yet, so I assume she must be that good or something. Or maybe I don't know of anything that she's had hands on that I've seen, and that's just me. So that says nothing. Oh, here we go. Noguera cut her teeth in acting. Oh, I thought I remember her face. Yes, she was a part of the Michael J. Fox show. I do remember that. Vampire Diaries and Hightown. Those last two I couldn't tell you anything about. Okay. I was wondering why I remembered her face, and now that makes sense from Michael J. Fox. So we're getting a Robin? I guess so. Hopefully the next Wonder Woman isn't 4'11". Look, hey, Gal Gadot did all right with you know. Look, if we can deal with a tall Wolverine, we can deal with a shortish Wonder Woman. Well, actually, I don't remember how tall Gal Gadot was, so I'm maybe talking my ass. Regardless, you know, hopefully they'll do right by her. There's been some fairly decent, a couple of decent fan picks for Wonder Woman, and I'm hoping one of them gets it, because I would love to see them at it. We're definitely not getting I know we're not getting Adrian Palicki, so you know I still need to wait, Wonder Woman is 5'2", or you're saying this the writer is 5'2"? And also you kind of pulled that up real fast there, sir. So either way, you know, like I said, we'll see who they get, because like I said, we still don't know. We got somebody writing this thing. We don't know who's going to be playing Wonder Woman. San Diego Comic-Con's Aztec Batman trailer explores mythos, culture, and justice in a new light. So yeah, there's a new trailer out there for Aztec Batman, Clash of Empires. Okay. So I still hadn't seen the other Batman Yakuza or Batman Samurai joints. So, yeah. But let's see. Batman Aztec Batman was announced in 2022. Yes, the animated film is being created in collaboration with Warner Brothers Animation, Particular Crowd, Mexico Anima, and Book of Life producer Chatrone, whoever that is. Okay, so sure. I mean, I need to check out some of that stuff. Oh, Superman's height. Wait, hold on. Wonder Woman's like 6'1", Superman's height. Oh, Gal Gadot's 5'2". Okay, gotcha. Right. And you know what? Speaking of Superman, dude that played Superman, I don't know if they just hired a whole bunch of short extras or he is just that tall. Because because the scenes that he was in, that he was playing Clark Kent, especially, like he was just towering over pretty much everybody. I was like, did you really just drop a whole bunch of short extras for this to happen, or he's just that tall? I have to say how tall dude is. Regardless, Batman Yakuza is so campy. Yeah, like I said, I hadn't watched any of that stuff yet, but I know people like it, and Batman Ninja. So yeah, there we go. Next up, though, there's a Superman 5 film 4K steelbook box set that is up for pre-order at Amazon, and this is for the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. By the way, oh wait, no, hold on. Let me make sure this is this case. Yes, this is the Christopher Reeve Batman movies. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there was only 4 movies. Oh, never mind. I'm seeing here. So here we go. So we're getting Superman 78, Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, and 3 and 4. I mean, honestly, they could have just cut 4 out of the equation because that movie was not good. But hey, I understand you got to complete the set. I think I also have all of these, not in steelbook form, but apparently it's going to be released September 2nd and going to be $130 because you know you gotta make those cash grabs right now while Superman is still hot. You'll also want to check out newly revealed Dark Knight Trilogy Steelbook Library Collection, which releases 2 weeks after Superman on September 16th. I think, and that is Superman, the current movie, is going to release on physical. September 16th, I believe. That's too great. So yeah, there's a 4K set for both of them, for the Batman set as well. I mean, I don't know if 4K is going to do. No, 4 was the Solar guy. 3 was Richard Pryor. So flip those two. Flip those two. Yeah, 3 was Richard Pryor. 4 was the Solar dude. Matter of fact, that came on because actually there's I have seen a couple of those movies on like Pluto TV fairly recently. I think Quest for Peace was on, and I was like, wow, that movie looks terrible in relation to the first one, in relation to any of them. But yeah, it's been a while since I've watched any of those, with the exception of the spot of 4 that I watched like fairly recently, like I said, because it was on Pluto TV or whatever it could be. Not a sponsor, just saying it was on there. But yeah, and I know I already have all of those, so I don't need a 4K of those, because those are I can't imagine 4K doing anything for those movies. Yes, 2 was Neil before Zod, indeed. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Jess Bush and Martin Quinn talk feeling comfortable in their characters for season 3. So this is talking about so this is the Nurse Chapel, and I believe that is Scotty, if I'm not mistaken, in their respective roles, and they're basically talking about you know, how they feel going into the third season of the show, of which I have never watched. So cool. It's an interesting looking Nurse Chapel. That's all I'm saying. Hey. And speaking of Strange New Worlds, Strange New Worlds producers want to follow up on the Lower Deck crossover with another more obscure Trek team up. Please tell me it's for the animated series, because that would be funny. So let's see. And it is for the animated series. Wow. Lower Decks was just the beginning. It turns out the producers had hopes of crossing over Strange New Worlds with another Trek show for an episode that would have been even stranger and potentially funnier than the show's fan favorite, Those Old Sciences. Quote, we really wanted to do a TAS, that's the animated series, episode, and for a bunch of reasons we couldn't quite get there. This is from a quote from Akiva Goldsman, who was talking to SFX magazine. So I need to actually, so Superman's, the animated series has been coming up recently for obvious reasons. I need to go back and revisit that whole thing. But also Star Trek, the animated series I kind of want to go back and revisit, because if those weren't ones from my childhood, in fact, around my birth, in a way, then I couldn't tell you anything else that wasn't. So, and I believe that stuff is out there. So yeah, Strange New Worlds season 3 is out there right now. Catch it. Next up, I need to really speed through a lot of these because it's getting late. And I don't know why I don't have anywhere to be tomorrow. But Master of the Universe title logo has been revealed for the live action movie. They even were given this nice little trailer here for it. I haven't seen it, but it was a title reveal, so go figure. But also on the line of that, apparently He-Man and Skeletor's weapons are at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, if you were one of the lucky / blessed / prominent people in order to do that. I'm not bitter at all. But hey, I hope folks are out there enjoying themselves. But yeah, if you're watching the video version, you can see He-Man's sword and you can see Skeletor's staff. There you go. So if you're around there getting pictures at the booth, go for it. And if you happen to be around Hasbro's booth and happen to be getting that Jetfires and Void Rivals Transformers bundles, think of me and get me one. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'd appreciate it. Maybe snag one of those robots in. Anyway, let me shut up. Saddle. Apparently, Taika Waititi has signed on for the new Judge Dredd movie, but it seems that Carl Urban might not be a part of it, because I guess he's tired of being the law. I didn't know. So according to the Hollywood Reporter, yeah, so that's that. And so it seems that Carl Urban may be out in favor of a total reboot, according to this article. It seems that the new film is meant to launch a potential Dread universe of interconnected characters and projects. Why? Well, we know why. But just as the character serves as flagship, Judge Dredd's universe is not that deep. They don't really. I know they're trying to connect the universe everything nowadays because it makes money, but this is stupid. Wonder if Skeletor will be He-Man's uncle in the movie continuity. Wait, is that from Revelation? And I feel like that's probably come up before. I feel like we've had this conversation before and it's come up someplace else. Like Skeletor was Rando's brother. Sorry. As long as it's like it's Thor universe. I mean, who's to say? It probably will be in a way, but I mean, it's Judge Dredd. You can't get too silly with that and make it still work. Yeah, I don't know. But either way, if that gets off the ground, I guess, you know what? Hey, therein lies that. We don't get too political around here, but when we do, we try to make it worth it. And this is not necessarily getting political because it's technically something comic book related. Trump seething over a South Park mockery on eve of Skydance Paramount deal closure, which, by the way, is the same deal that killed the Colbert Report because of the stupid people behind the sale and the orange bastard. So yeah, White House lashes out at, quote, desperate season 7. Oh, I find out this is funny. So South Park is basically taking shots at Trump when technically he kind of got Colbert fired. Now, whether it means anything in the long run, because it's South Park, because they were going to probably do anything anyway. And I'm not a big South Park fan, so I generally don't really care about this, but good on them. They got a big deal to do something whatever. But yeah, apparently, yeah, if you're watching the video version, you can see a picture of Satan and his concubine canoodling with each other. You can pretty much guess who the concubine is. I find that quite funny. Regardless, like I said, I don't care for South Park, but good on him for this one. Let's see. In the 2002, he was Rando's half brother. Got it. He is probably angry over the micro penis jokes. Whatever. He's angry over a lot of stupid things. He need to be in jail. Anyway, meet the new avatar of Avatar 7 Havens. And I keep wanting to think 7 Heaven, and I shouldn't do that. So there's going to be a brand new animated show called Avatar 7 Havens, which we already knew about this. Apparently, we got a little bit more at San Diego Comic-Con for the 20th anniversary panel. As we got a little bit of a first look for it. This is going to be 26 episodes. Great. See, more 26 episode stores. We need this back in our lives. Jesus, they've been doing 10 episodes of Marvel stuff for this long. There's just like, but then again, it's two different people doing it. But anyway, rant. So 26 episodes, 2D animated TV series. 7 Havens is set in the world of a devastating cataclysm that has ravaged the world, tearing both the mortal and spirit realms into chaos, leading to an intense distrust of the Avatar and their place in the world, which I feel like the last two already kind of had some of that in a way. But anyway, as the remnants of society draw back into titular 7 Havens, you can see one of them, the city of Aurora, in the background of the image above if you're watching the video version. So this was mentioned or rumored, the fact that she was going to be going to have a false leg, or prior to all of this, prior to being announced. Hey, why not? I mean, why not? Who's to say she can't? It's not going to help. I mean, it's not going to hurt. So thought it was after Korra, so shouldn't her prosthetic be more advanced? So I'm not entirely sure. Well, I don't know if it's when this is being set. And actually, we don't know. I mean, think about it. It could be Thunder the Barbarian. Like, the moon could just swoop by, you know, causing havoc. And the Earth goes all prehistoric again. So it could be after Korra. We don't know. I need to watch Korra. Let's see. So again, this is we're not entirely sure when this is when this is being placed at, but apparently, you know, let's see, just what happened to there's no stopping from worry about poor Korra's reputation though. Let's see, Pavi and Jay, I think those are the two main characters. It will be their adventures will be spread across 2 books because that's our Avatar thing of 13 episodes. There's no release date yet, and we're still waiting for those movies to hit theaters next year, by the way. So yeah, I don't know. It's not, I'm not entirely sure when this is being set, and it doesn't seem to say here. But there's nothing saying that it couldn't be after Korra and or whatever happened that caused things to be where they are. There's nothing saying that couldn't be the case. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Next up, though, she's Avatar. You got to deal with it. Wallace and Gromit. Technically, we're kind of getting to in the anime corner, but we'll hold that. So actually, we're even with the last one. But anyway, a new animated series is on the way for the world of Pokemon from a very famous UK animation studios, Aardman Animation. Y'all know the Wallace and Gromit peoples. So apparently it's going to be it's a stop motion animated thing, and it's called Pokemon Tales, The Misadventures of Sirfetch'd and Pichu, which is going to arrive in 2027. So, okay. And there's a teaser trailer here with a Wulong, and okay. Sirfetch'd and Pichu are weird characters to do a thing about, but okay. Well, Sirfetch'd, Pichu, I guess that's just, yeah. But anyway, there's also going to be another season of Pokemon Concierge. I still didn't want that. And some other stuff. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Next up, though, Hideki Anno is joining Production IG. Now, this is definitely anime news. And apparently should not be any surprise if you know anime history. So, Hideki Anno is joining the board of directors for Production IG this August, but there's some interesting history behind it. So let's see, what is the history? I did not know this. Production IG was a spinoff from Tatsunoko Productions, specifically around the time of Zillion, which is a fun mecha anime from 1987 that's definitely worth a watch, according to this Forbes article. Fully Cooley came out of Production IG also, and Gynax. Let's see. G-Quacks, Gundam G-Quacks also. Let's see. Oh, wait. So Fully Cooley's director was Kazuya Tsurumaki, who co-wrote the recent Gundam G-Quacks alongside Anno. So there you go. Let's see. Tatsunoko Production also produced the original Macross, yep, and some other stuff. Apparently, I did not know about this, so some have incorrectly assumed that since Gynax went bankrupt last year, Anno was moving into Production IG to snap up more anime rights, which would also make sense. So, damn, Von Gloom. There's a Pokemon Mafia show? No, sir. It has something to do with a hotel thing. I know who board of directions and not another project. You feeling on a kind of a way about that, sir? Next up, though, Voja. Comic book news. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles gets new creative team. So yeah, Jason Aaron and Juan Ferreira are leaving the book. Gene Luen Yang and Freddie E. Williams II are going to be taking over. after they leave. So that's interesting. So if you did not know, Gene Luen Yang is the Eisner winner creator of the graphic novel American Boy in Chinese. I know he's also done some other stuff for DC, and I don't think he's done any Marvel stuff. I don't remember, but regardless, so but he's doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the current book, not the Saturday Morning Adventures book, which just came out this week, by the way, and I didn't get a chance to read. Let's see. Oh yeah, Yang also wrote Superman Smashes the Klan, which has also been doing rounds lately because of the Superman movie, or has been brought back up. So will be the new writer on the ongoing Usher comic, and we'll be starting in issue number 13, which I believe we're at 10 right now, so soon. Freddie E. Williams also did the Batman TMNT and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers stuff. So yes, I definitely know that name for all of those crossovers. Which, yeah, I like his style. It's all right. So, and they'll be picking up from where Jason Aaron and Juan Ferreira took off, or end off at. So yeah, there you go, folks. We shall see how that goes. Arnold's projects leave me in need of antidepressants. Wow. Okay. Alrighty then. You absolutely. Yes. In fact, speaking of Von Gloom, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to face Godzilla. Come on now. You know we got it. To face Godzilla in epic new crossover. So, according to the announcement, and by the way, Godzilla #1 came out this week. I'm fairly certain Agent 70 probably will, if he hasn't gotten around, because I know he's busy doing Comic-Con stuff. If he has gotten around to reading it, he probably will. So stay tuned for that when he comes back. I don't know how we're going to figure that one out, but we'll work that out. I wish he could have done. I wish I had told him to do what I would have wanted him to do in this situation, but whether he was going to have time to do it is whatever. So yeah. This was announced at San Diego Comic-Con, at the Godzilla panel, and let's see. The crossover reveals that the original purpose of the Foot Clan was to protect Japan from giant monsters known as kaiju. Who doesn't know who that is at this point? Of whom Godzilla is the most feared. That's an interesting way to use the Foot Clan. When Godzilla and pals reappear, the Foot Clan is not only unprepared to stop him, but their current leader, longtime turtle hater Shredder, may even be behind the attacks. And that makes total sense. But the Turtle Boys don't cut them no slack, and I'm pretty sure that is a weird crossover to have. But then again, a lot of the crossovers are weird in ways that, especially that Turtles. I mean, excuse me. So again, Turtles, Power Rangers, Godzilla. They've already the circle is complete at this point. Turtles have pretty much crossed over with pretty much everybody. Dug the art for sure. It was interesting. I am waiting for the Turtles to transform into Gamoras to Shredder's Mechagodzilla. They have to have a mech, right? They're not going to themselves transform. They're like Donatello's going to do some. Here's a giant mech I had just in storage somehow, and that the Turtle Blimp's going to be a part of or something, and we'll go into battle with that and lose or something. I don't know. Or it'd be real funny. Hey, here's something the Power Rangers gave us, and we can use Zords, which that's not going to happen. But so yeah, it's writer Tim Seeley and artist Pharaoh Pay, excuse me, are behind it for IDW. So you may know Tim Seeley's name for things. That other name I'm not entirely sure of, but okay. Except ThunderCats and Powerpuff Girls at the moment. Well, I mean, ThunderCats has done a crossover with He-Man. So I'm just saying the circle can close at any moment. And I believe there was a ThunderCats, or there was or will. I think there was or will be. I could have sworn there was a ThunderCats and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover already out there or coming out there. One of the two. So again, loop is steadily closing. Steadily closing. Anyway, do we get a... There's some art here which looks real good. I'm looking for a date. There's that. And oh, here we go. First issue of IDW's TMNT and Godzilla goes on sale November 12th, 2025. So there you go. Final order code off is October 6th. Mojo Jojo and Krang would be crazy. That'd be silly. That'd be real silly. Buffy the Vampire Slayer returns in comic book form from Dynamite Entertainment. And apparently they're going to do new Buffy and Angel comic because they cut that off like last year or sometime and stop all that and Firefly stuff too. Apparently the Buffy book and the Angel books are both going to be written by Kelly Thompson, who of course writes Absolute Wonder Woman and Birds of Prey. So they're good writers. No interior artist has been revealed yet, but cover artist is being done by David Nakayama, so you know the cover's going to look good. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, previously, Boom had them had the rights to Buffy last time. That's why they gave, and that's why they don't have them now, because now Dynamite has them. So there you go. No date yet, but you know, I'm sure that's coming when it's coming. Next up, though, speaking of, Sam and Dean hit the road again in new Supernatural comic launching October 2025. So there's going to be a Supernatural comic book for all you Supernatural fans who also possibly happen to be comic book fans. I'm sure there's the Venn diagram is almost a circle somewhere. Let's see. Greg Pak is doing the writing with art by Eder Messias. So the creative team on Sam Wilson, Captain America, basically. Let's see. Pak promises a return to the emotional monster-packed mix that made the show a fan favorite. I've never watched Supernatural. A couple of dudes in a cool car chasing monsters, demons, and ghosts. I'm all in, he said. We're going for fun and grounded, and then we're going to absolutely cut loose. So for Messias, the job is a dream come true. It is by far my favorite television series, quote, end quote. Recalling how Supernatural was a Saturday night staple in Brazil. I'm looking forward to bringing this story to fans and giving it my best. So there you go. So Von Gloom says Clayton Crane is involved only with the cover art. I guess so. Yeah. Oh yeah. Debut issues feature covers by Clayton Crane, Eder Messias, and David Cousins. So yeah. And there you go. You can see, yeah, things right there. So Scooby-Doo minus the copious amount of drugs. I don't know. From what I understand about Supernatural, there probably should have been drugs. It's kind of like Charmed without the witchcraft, I guess. Something that's probably totally wrong. I don't know. Like I said, I've seen Supernatural. I've never actually watched the show like that though. I know people gush over the show, or excuse me, the dudes who play the brothers and the dad who ended up being in Walking Dead. Daddy Winchester. Who's also doing a game show right now on NBC, which is also funny. But I don't watch. Well, excuse me, not a game show, it's a reality show, so I'm not going to watch that. But I saw he was doing that, and I'm like, all right, cool. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, that's his name. I knew I remembered it. There were angels and demons in both. That is correct. Yeah. All right. Robert Kirkman gives updates for Invincible and more Skybound projects. So yeah, this was at the Kirkman. This was like some San Diego stuff. He talks about that Invincible Universe Battle Beast #1 is on its 4th printing. I still have not read that book. The Invincible animated series was renewed for a 5th season, which we kind of knew already. Let's see. And apparently Matthew Reese from The Americans will be voicing the reptilian villain Dinosaurus. Let's see, there's new artwork with the show, and apparently Mark's going to hell because we know, we do know this is going to be a filler. Yes, Negan was their dad. That is correct. That is correct. Let's see. Mark Grayson will go to hell, citing how other superhero stories have done the same. So yeah, I know this is kind of a filler arc for this fourth season, but you know, hey, because it's not in the book. Let's see. There's going to be reprints of the Astounding Wolfman and Tech Jacket, and also that Die and Battle Pope will be receiving deluxe hardcovers in September. The quote is, Battle Pope is the stupidest book I've ever done, but Die is the craziest. Let's see. Kirkman is also doing Skinbreaker, a fantasy book that teams him with David Finch. Let's see. Here we go. Here's the part I was trying to get to, which is probably also in the next article, and I apologize for all the squeaking. The Energon universe is also heating up. Kirkman is taking over Transformers, which we already knew, with Dan Mora, and is joining forces with Andre Bresson for Void Rivals 25, which kicks off the Quintesson War. I heard rumors of Void Rivals also might be ending if the next article is to be believed. Don't know. But let's see. Kirkman was also ecstatic because he also pointed out that Hasbro was doing a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set, which we've already talked about. That's the Jetfire and Derek Zalillo set, which I really want. But an expressed regret that he didn't have to take over Transformers. Wait, he expressed regret as he wished he didn't have to take over, Transformers for Daniel Warren Johnson. I mean, Daniel Warren Johnson was leaving, so what else? Somebody was going to have to take it. If not him, who? If not then, when? But also, Kirkman revealed that Invincible will be coming to other media outside of television and video games. The classic card game Overpowered is returning with expansions for Invincible, Walking Dead, and other Image Comics icons like Witchblade and Savage Dragon. Free League is also developing an Invincible RPG. Let's see. Kirkman also mentioned that he's open to other Skybound Image properties receiving the treatment that Invincible is getting. And he also noted that 2025 marks 25 years of Kirkman himself writing. And he says that I can say that it's an impressive career. Or I guess that's the article writer saying that. So we're just going to stop that right there. So yeah, there you go. That's a lot going on. And this next article talks about Void Rivals possibly ending in 2025 because of solicits. So yeah, Transformers gets its 25th issue in October. See, this comes as Kirkman's own Void Rivals comes to an story arc end with Void Rivals 24. So maybe not the end of the book, just the end of the arc. So that title was very misleading. Let's see. And there's some speculation there. Larry Hama and Chris Moonham revisit the classic G.I. Joe 21 the silent issue of G.I. Joe 321 with a silent G.I. Joe 321. Okay. So, Cold Slither gets a one shot. So G.I. Joe Cold Slither one shot. You'll be joining us soon. That is another thing that I've heard word about from San Diego that may or may not have been procured that I'm happy about. So yeah, G.I. Joe number 12, which I guess is also Legacy. Wait, nope, that's G.I. Joe number 12. But G.I. Joe Real American Hero 321, that's going to be the silent issue. Let's see. And that's, yeah, it's the end of, so yeah, so 40 Rivals is end of story arc, not end of the book, according to that title for this. Damn, you bleeding cool. Anyway, Absolute Green Arrow was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. It's coming spring 2026. 26. The book will be from the creative team of Ponsac Pichetshot. I apologize. I know I butchered the name. And drawn by Raphael Albuquerque. And if you're watching the video version, you can see some art from it because of a still taken from the stage. So I'm curious if, are they still going with the islands? Ollie was an on island story thing. Guess we will know. So let's see. Details about the new take were sparse, but Pichetshot, who was on the panel, said that Absolute Oliver Queen is a billionaire. So I guess no, who gets fed up with how other billionaires are acting. So he still gets to keep his money, but Bruce doesn't, which is fine with me. But you know, sure. The Absolute Green Arrow character will show up in October's Absolute Evil one-shot. Okay. But that wasn't the only news from the panel. Hayden Sherman, who is drawing Absolute Wonder Woman, revealed that in Absolute Wonder Woman 15, Wonder Woman will meet Absolute Batman by going to Gotham City, which starts to knit together a much closer, much more of the new Absolute universe. It was bound to happen at some point. So there you go. Let's see. Deathstroke's still coming to Absolute Batman, and is that world's Alfred's best friend. Okay. He has a vision for, so this is talking about stuff that Snyder's wanting to do with Absolute Batman. Let's see. This December, the Joker's coming to, I guess, Absolute Batman, or I don't know if he's already in it, but sure. In this world, Bruce and Selena are childhood sweethearts, so they're basically doing Gotham. So, okay. Yeah. So they're basically taking a page from Gotham, the show. Cool. Next up, I really got to speak to some of this. Marvel to introduce Samurai Venom from Afro Samurai creator Takeshi Ozaki. If you're watching the video version, you can see said character right there. And this is going to be in Venom Black and White, Venom Black and White and Blood #3. Yeah. All right. And there's a variant cover. There you go. Don't really care about Venom that much, so we move on. John Byrne's X-Men Elsewhere from Marvel Arts, made official at San Diego Comic-Con. It's a 3-volume collection of the 32-issue X-Men Elsewhere by John Byrne. It will be inked, recolored, and relettered for 2026 release from Marvel Arts. Okay. So Abrams is putting this out, basically. And it'll be all through 32 issues, like I said. So I don't know. Wait, it says Elsewhen. Sorry, I said Elsewhere. It's Elsewhen. My apologies. So there's apparently a cover for the book and a stupid quote right underneath it. So I'm not sure what that is, but there you go for those folks. Von Gloom says Ollie is in the absolute universe, is still rich and isn't radically changed. We got a witch Diana and a muscle man Bruce and alien Clark. Well, I mean, to be fair, Clark is an alien. Was always an alien, so that still hasn't changed. But Ollie is still rich. What else were they going to do with Green Arrow? They already put him on an island. So I don't know. Oh, I'm going to say that for next week. So apparently there's Marvel's doing another date, another time thing. There's, like I said, I had to stop doing art. I mean, putting news in because there was a lot already in it, as you can see, and we're still going and still got a lot to go through. So next week's show is also going to be equally packed. But Marvel and DC's Forgotten Hero Spider-Boy #1 has been reprinted after nearly 30 years. Yes, not the current Spider-Boy, but apparently This was from Carl Kessel and Mike Ringo, excuse me. Let's see. This was a part of Marvel and DC's Amalgam line and will be reprinted as a facsimile edition this October. If you're watching the video version, you can see seems to be the cover of said book, said reprint. Yeah, there you go. Good old Ringo, indeed, the only Spider fan, the only Spider Boy I acknowledge. Says Von Gloom. Nice. Next up, Marvel resurrects a legendary hero who made history 50 years ago, and that is White Tiger. Guess what? White Tiger is back, folks. So apparently this is going to be, so let's see, according to an official press release, Marvel's first Latin American hero will return in White Tiger Reborn this October. It will release as a part of Marvel Comics Latin American Heritage Month commemorative one-shots, Marvel versus Comunidades. So, and this is Hector Ayala, not the current, not Angela and not Ava. So, which I was about to say kind of a little late for that version, given what we know about Daredevil Born Again, but I guess maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I don't know. Wait, wasn't she already active in the Avengers AIM book already? Yeah, no, this is the original White Tiger. Yeah, this is the original. So, the White Tiger comeback issue will feature 2 stories, one by Daniel Jose Older, with visuals by emerging artist Bruno Abidas, along with another Bram Stoker award winner Cynthia Palayo, and art by Moises Hidalgo. So there you go. Cool. Look out for that. We will probably be talking about it. Next up, The Thing and Ed McGuinness clobbered the Marvel Universe, and it's a sight to behold, according to this article. So, Ed McGuinness is bringing back Marvel 2-in-1, except for it's Marvel All-in-One, All-on-One, and it's a 50-page one-shot written by... Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. No. I was thinking writing. My bad. Doing the art. But, anyway... Marvel All-in-One is a 50-page one-shot written by current Fantastic Four writer Ryan North, featuring the Thing of the Fantastic Four, of course, fighting the entire Marvel Universe in splash pages. Sounds pretty exciting, right? Weirdly enough, we kind of have a Thing book that he's fighting a lot of bad guys, granted. So, yeah. Okay. No, which is the Spanish. Ed is drawing. That's gonna be crazy. Yeah, that's gonna be real good. That's gonna be real good. That goes on sale August 20th. So look forward to us checking that out. And the rest of this article is an interview with Ed McGuinness, with some art, with some very stunning art. Being shown off here during the course of the interview. So yeah, good stuff. So I mean, yes, there's a good chance Porn Stash Johnny might be in the book. We don't know, but probably. Marvel recreates iconic MCU poster for a major comic book event, and this is that I think this is that Ultimates thing. So yeah, Ultimate Endgame. This is for that. I saw this a few days ago. Here, if you're watching the video version, here is the poster for it. It looks good. Definitely evocative of some in-game shenanigans. Which, of course, it makes sense. Yeah, he's kind of here to stay for the moment, sir. Sorry about that. But not sorry, because it's not my fault. But, and of course, there is the Avengers in-game actual poster. Beside the Ultimate Endgame poster. So there you go. And therein lies that. That's coming in December, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Next up, though, Planet She-Hulk, Nova Centurion, and Black Panther Intergalactic are have been announced at San Diego Comic-Con. I believe we knew these were coming, but I guess this is more information on those one-shots. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. These were new ongoing series that were announced. I thought these were those one-shots. So, Planet She-Hulk by Stephanie Phillips and Aaron Cooter. Nova Centurion by Jed McKay and Alvaro Lopez. Both of those are launching in November. And all of this is coming out of Imperial, by the way. Then followed by Black Panther Intergalactic in December. Exiles and Imperial Guardians series in 2026. So we talked about that Imperial Guardians series last week. So, okay, so those are series and not one-shots, like we thought. All right, interesting. Weird, interesting. Aaron Cooter on She-Hulk. I'll buy that for $1. Nice. So, yeah, and then it goes into the flavor text on all of these, which I won't go into, but stuff sounds interesting. And yeah, Imperial. So which means Imperial's gotta end a certain kind of way, I guess, for these to be the case. So anyway, 70 years after their debut, the Muppets are mashing up with Marvel heroes as Kermit becomes Thor, Swedish Chef turns into Wolverine, Gonzo is the Silver Surfer, and more. I'm going to assume these are for variant covers, and yes, they are. So there will be 10 variant covers, which will release throughout October, and a bunch of artists. And here's a galaxy. I love this Swedish Chef one. If you're watching the video version, yeah, Exiles. I thought that was crazy too. So Nova Centurion, will the core be reformed? Doesn't sound like that might be the case. From what I just read, from what I read off of that, off of the solicit. So, Lilandra and Xavier and Xandra on the run from pissed off Shi'ar and Exiles? Probably not, but that's pretty good though. Although maybe it might be. I mean, given what we know about Imperial 2, that could be, but knowing what Exiles actually is, probably not. Wait, who said Swedish Chef was married? Where you see that at? Oh, the ring on his finger. Huh. You got me on that one. I just noticed that. He's got a ring on his finger. You got me on that one there, pal. Let's see what else we got. We got the Thor Silver Kermit is Thor and Silver and Gonzo is Silver Surfer here for Amazing Spidey 13 cover. We got Beaker and the Professor as Banner and the Hulk. That's pretty funny. Let's see, we got Avengers variant, of course, with the Dr. Teeth and gang. And let's see. Of course, we got Sam the Eagle's Captain America. With Pepe. Now, why does Pepe got to be the Hydra though? And of course, Scooter is Bucky, and you looks like you have Miss Piggy as Madam Hydra. I'm going to assume. That's funny. Yeah, I saw who is Galactus? Nanny? You know what? Probably. Of course, Fozzie Bear as the Thing, the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing, Awaka Waka and Awaka, for the Fantastic Four #4 variant cover. So yeah, there you go. And apparently there's one for Battle World too. So, but we only got the ones that we got. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be showing those off, or maybe not. Now, here's my favorite part. I am unhampered by don't do Ben that dirty. So now we are getting into the Toy Corner, and I am unhampered, folks. Even though I'm not going to take too much time about this because it's already late, and this episode's already gone 3 hours with just me. It was a lot of news, I told you. New 5 cards from the Spider-Man upcoming expansion from Magic the Gathering crossover. Maybe I'll talk about a little bit more on this on a separate stream. Don't hold me to that, because there are so many streams I said I was going to do, including a Fantastic Four one for this week, which could possibly happen, but probably won't. But yeah, so we got some preview cards from San Diego Comic-Con, but those were not the only preview cards to come out around this time. The Amazing Spider-Man set is due to come out next month in August, and I am going to be getting a whole box of this. And I believe these are going to be playable in Magic Arena, which is the online digital version of Magic the Gathering. If y'all did not know, I do love me some Magic the Gathering. I do like me some Magic the Gathering a lot. Let me put that. I'm not trying to overselling. I'm not that great at it, but hey, I've been playing it for a while and enjoying it. Or I've played Magic for quite a while, but I'm not as good as half these people out here. But anyway, there's a Peter Parker card, and on the other side is Amazing Spider-Man, who of course has Vigilance and Reach, because why would you not have Reach on Spider-Man? Of course he's going to be able to get, be able to attack flying creatures. And Vigilance means that he won't tap. So that means that once you're attacking, he's going to stay untapped, stay usable again. Anyway, that's me nerding out. Let's see. There's, oh, that's cute. I have seen Magic doing stuff like this. So this is one of their, kind of a variant cards. And this is cool with different text on it. I like this. Of course, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Ham. There's Penny Parker with Spider, of course, Miguel with 2099, and there you go. So those were the cards that we got from IGN off of from that. But we also got a few more, which realistically some of them are some of the same ones that we just saw. But Untapped also got some preview cards. One way, shape, or form. There's the 2099. There's a Symbiote Spidey. There's Doc Ock. There's a Gwen. There's a Miles. I'm assuming this is a 2-sided card. For Miles as well. So we got Spider-Punk. That looks like also that might be a 2-sided card. We don't, unless he's getting 2 cards. Another 2099 card. There's Iron Spider in the Web Warriors. So yeah, a few cards that were being previewed out. Because like I said, that new set is coming next month. Not next month. September. The new set for Magic the Gathering is coming exactly kind of out now in preview right now, but is coming in August. And Spider-Man is coming in September. So my apologies. The September 23rd is going to be on Arena, which means it's also already going to be out in paper form around that time. So yeah. Also, there's going to be Marvel Spider-Man's welcome decks. So if you don't know what welcome decks are, if you go to a local card shop and you want to say, hey, I want to get into Magic the Gathering, and they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Here's a welcome deck. It's basically, it's a deck that you can use to kind of get into the game. It's kind of a starter. It's basically a starter deck. Now the difference is it's only going to be 30. It's only 30 cards, and I can't remember if some lands come with that, but yes, lands do come with that. And this article is breaking down the different sets for the different colors of Magic, because if you don't know, there are 5 colors in Magic, and variations that you can use therein. So yeah, so you can go. So when Marvel Spider-Man comes out in September, you can go to your local game shop around that time that sells Magic cards and be like, hey, I heard you got, I want to get into the Magic, or you have welcome decks. Asking for welcome decks, you can get at least one. You might have to go back in there a couple of different times and maybe wear disguises, I don't know, to get the different ones. Because I don't think they're definitely not gonna give you all 5, and they'll probably, unless you buy them or something. But I know and they're free. They're usually free. So, like I said, you shouldn't have to pay anything for the welcome decks, unless they just started playing, having people pay for them. Because I remember doing that one time, and I got a welcome deck, and it was for free. It should still be that way if you go in there. But again, that's not until this comes out next in September. So unless it's out there, unless these are out there now, because it doesn't say that these are out there now. Yeah, the set releases on September 26th. So yeah, so it won't be until the end of September when you can get your hands on those welcome decks. But yeah, Hasbro looking at romantasy, K-pop, Magic, and sets to expand female players. So Magic the Gathering makes a lot of money. That recent set for Final Fantasy did numbers. Yeah, apparently got a lot of people into Magic the Gathering because of the Final Fantasy set. I am not a Final Fantasy fan, so I did not care. But yeah, you know, if you want to keep up with Magic, you got to keep up with sets. So let's see. And apparently this article breaks down as to, you know, people coming into the game and how much it's made, numbers. And not surprising, yeah, money. Money was made. Marvel and Topps teaming up for a stunning new card series at the San Diego Comic-Con, apparently. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, so Marvel and Topps unveiled a mint series of cards at San Diego Comic-Con. Of course, there'll be a few convention exclusive cards. I wish I had known about this, so I could have asked Matt and Agent 70, Matt Wayne 97 and Agent 70, to possibly be on the lookout for this and get me a copy of these if it was going to be there, but you know, no such luck. Let's see. But yeah, DC. Let's see. And this is a Screen Rant article. Here are the trading cards. If you're watching, yeah, they're just basically trading cards. There's nothing to them but just you know, character figures, I guess. Unless there's something on the back, I don't know. So it's basically like Topps trading cards. If you collected those. Yeah, therein lies that. Don't see a price for this, but yeah, don't see a price for them, but I assume that's maybe the price is not out there just yet. Or that's again con exclusive. My Marvel token Fighting Souls will be playable with 6 characters at EVO 2025. So I was wondering whether that was going to be the case. Is 6 characters going to be the whole roster starter, or is just that it's not going to be finished by the time and they're only doing 6 characters? That's interesting. So Marvel Token Fighting Souls is a 4v4. It's like basically Marvel versus Capcom. But it's being done by Arc System Works, you know, makers of Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and a whole bunch of, you know, other stuff. Apparently they're branching out, but you know, that's the stuff they're known for. So let's see, it's going to be playable at EVO 2025 in Las Vegas. The build being shown off. So this is probably not going to be on stage. This just means it's going to be at the event though. That's what this sounds like. So it's going to be playable at the event, just not on stage, which I was hoping it was going to be out in time for it to make EVO playable on stage in tournament setting. But regardless, so Captain America, Iron Man, Storm, Star-Lord, Miss Marvel, and Doctor Doom. So it's the same ones we pretty much knew already, and people kind of feel them out. So maybe they'll be ready for EVO 2027. There you go. But and there'll be a panel at EVO, and that's going to be August 1st. I don't ever go to EVO. I wouldn't mind, even though I'm not a really big fighting game, you know, tournament fan. But hey, I like watching some of that stuff as much as the next person does, if the next person is me. Toy Corner still. Marvel, Walmart Collecticon 2025 preview has a War Machine and an Omega Red 2 set. Twin pack. So there you go. If you're watching the video version, you can see that. And again, this is for Walmart Collecticon Summer 2025 preview. Apparently they're already up on, pre-orders are already up as we speak. For this, I don't see a price though. So there you go. Walmart Collector-Con also has a preview for Velocity Suit Peter Parker, Spider-Man from the Gamerverse line. Also, that is also on pre-order sale right now. So there you go. And if you want to know how to pre-order Hasbro stuff from San Diego Comic-Con, that's not convention. That's not convention exclusives. Then you can check out this article, because it'll probably basically check out Hasbro Pulse, because I've already been doing that, and that stuff's already out. Some of that stuff is already out on Hasbro Pulse, so you can check that out there. DC's Comic Book Con booth has been unveiled as publisher hits the road to 100th years. So DC is 90 this year, and so that's only 10 years from 100. That's math. I know math. And they're, here's the booth. If you're watching the video version with basically the Trinity, holding court right there. Of course, you got a little side with Superman and Crypto, and you've got the Worlds Collide on the other side because, of course, yeah, Hasbro stuff is affordable at least. I guess. But like I said, there's a couple of convention exclusives that are not on Hasbro Pulse that I would like, and I won't be able to get. So there you go. The quick looks amazing. Yeah, some of the stuff that they had on there looks pretty good already. Because like I said, I checked out the site like last night or night before, one of the two. And yeah, there's some stuff on there. Might think about trying to cop. But anyway, this is an article basically going through DC's booth at Comic-Con. And there you go. Beachhead and Quick are kind of like 50. Wow, that seems a lot for those though. But then again, the Classic Bike series, that's I don't know. Either way, so the Joker becomes Emperor of the DCU with new McFarlane Toys comic statue. So this is an Emperor Joker statue. There you go. 7.65 inches tall, including the base. It is, let's see, pre-orders launch on July 22nd, so 21st, so that is out and it's limited time. So if you want a statue of Emperor Joker, you better get on that. So there you go. This is a part of McFarlane's Joker Purple Craze sub-series. Is that other statues on here, or is that the next thing? So anyway, there's a new Mondo figure. There's a Robin figure from Batman the Animated Series from Mondo. There you go. If you're watching the video version, you can see that. And the posters were the cheapest thing at $80. I wanted the God Emperor Doom, but $180 is ridiculous. Yeah, I understand. I understand. I understand, sir. Maybe that'll come back out at sometime at a cheaper price. I doubt it, but who knows? But regardless, there's a Robin figure from Batman Animated Series from Mondo. Do we have a price? I am not seeing it right now, but it's on pre-order from Mondo. If you are interested in that, you can go to the site. I'm not going to do that because I got to stick out a bunch of other stuff to go through. Speaking of the Joker, as I should have moved this article. Oh, hell no, so that bastard could get possessed to try to kill me. I saw Child's Play. I had never read Emperor Joker, but I do remember that being a kind of a thing. But anyway, part of Mezco's 112 collective series, the 17 centimeter tall figure sees Hamill's Joker in a purple, classic purple suit. If you're watching the video version, you can see the clown prints right there with Joker cards in hand. Let's see. This is from Mezco, I think I said, and this is a figure, not a action figure. So basically a statue. Let's see. It is on their website that you can see, but I don't see a price on it, and it's set to release between December 2025 and February 2026. So there you go. You can just flip through that. Actually, this is not a statue. This is an actual figure with an accoutrement. You can see him with a bomb, with his cards. Let's see, hands and stuff. So there you go. There you go. Oh, wait. The entire package will be $116 USDs. So there you go. And that is a statue. So I stand corrected. K-pop. I don't think this is for the toys. I think that that's just for the movie. Which, if you heard about, well, I don't think we talked about it on the show last week. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure some K-pop Demon Slayer toys are probably coming. But that was for the movie that's on Netflix, which I still haven't seen, but Agent 70 has, and I know we talked about it last week, but I can't remember if it was on the show or not. Either way, Nickelodeon brings exclusive Avatar: The Last Airbender, SpongeBob, and TMNT collectibles to San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know how much of this show is going to get edited. I don't want people to sit through a 3-hour show, but it's going to be long. I apologize, folks. So there's a gold Aang, and the rest of the crew. There's even an Uncle Iroh with those are pins. Some Appa kicks. Oh wait, no, it's an Appa deck. Okay, a surf deck. Oh man, I don't skate, but I would actually get this and hang this up, but I know it's going to be Prince, and it's also San Diego exclusive. So, boo. $325? Yeah, never mind. I know skate decks are expensive, so that's shouldn't be shocked by that. Let's see. Avatar: Last Airbender wanted posters for Aang, Iroh, and Zuko, and the Blue Spirit. So there you go. Oh man, an Uncle Iroh tea set. I love me some tea. I ain't afraid to say it. Uncle Iroh tea set for 2? Hell fucking yes. Absolutely. I would go for it. I would get that. $40. And I said also rest in peace, Iroh. Excuse me, rest in peace, Mako, the original Uncle Iroh. Apparently, as a Smurf bag charm. There's some other stuff here. I'm not going through all of this. Some Play-Doh stuff, bags, Magic the Gathering stuff. I did see that there was like I said earlier, they were giving away a card for the Magic the Gathering Avatar: The Last Airbender set. Aw, look at Momo, Ronan and Momo. Nice. It's Apple with Apple. Say that 5 times fast. Eyeshadow, SpongeBob stuff. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, there was a card that they were giving away at the booth for that was a con exclusive, and I'm upset that I'm not there, that I can't get it myself, because I know that would be the only way for me to get it. But yeah. Anyway, San Diego. So there was a ThunderCats RPG that has been announced, published by Dynamite Entertainment and designed by Lynn Vander Studios. So this is cool. So let's see. This game will be based on the 80s version of the show and will include fan favorite characters like the ThunderCats. Apparently, it's going to have the later ones also. So Pumara, Mumra, Panthera, Tigra, etc., etc., etc. The core rule book will be 250 pages and contain mechanics, lore, and artwork, and more. Yes, Roddykat will be getting this when this comes out, because even if I never play a game of this, I will get it. I will have thee. Doesn't say when this is coming out though. It says just soon, so I have to look out for this. Because I'm a sucker for rule books for RPG licenses of stuff that I like. I'm just a sucker anyway, but that's beside the point. Fantasy Entertainment, FE Masterworks announces 4 new studio scale Star Trek models. So we have an Enterprise E. You see it right there. I guess, and the Reliant from Star Trek 2, which Star Trek 2 also has been on lot, because they're doing, like I said, on Pluto TV, they're doing all the movies. Let's see. $20,000 for this? Holy wow. That's for the Enterprise E. And the Reliant is 16. How big are these jokers? Wow. Oh, wow. That's a lot. Let's see. The Enterprise D, the Titan A, Enterprise G. Oh yeah, right. From Picard. Let's see. So there's the Reliant. There's Voyager. And that's $18,000. Looks like it has 8 LED lights on it. Excuse me. There's Shrike. That's a lot of money, but those look good. Move right along. Star Trek, the original series tricorder is up for pre-order at the IGN store. So yeah, if you want an original series tricorder, you can go there and pre-order that. I'm sure, or if you're cosplaying or original series, then yeah, have at it. Next up, Welcome to the Year of Hell was Lascelles' new Star Trek action figures. So we got Year of Hell version of Janeway there, which I also just watched that episode fairly recently. There's a Nog who wasn't in. Wait, hold on. Nog wasn't in that. And Nog in the Starfleet uniform, Ensign uniform, circa season 6's Favor the Bold. So I'm assuming that's from Deep Space Nine. I was about to say Nog was not in Voyager. So yeah, those are they, and I don't see a price for these, but there's going to be more waves coming soon. So there's Wave 3 and Wave 4 coming with a Cisco and a Savik from Star Trek 3, not 2. Huh, interesting. Hoshi, okay. Tom Paris and a bunch of others. We don't need to necessarily go through all of this. But yeah, more Star Trek figures coming from the sale. Sweet. Next up, So yeah, Wave 14 covers reveal new look at Mara Jade from Star Wars Essential Legends Collection. That's coming out, looks like this November. There's going to be a bunch of expanded universe, now known as Legends Universe, aka the stuff that's not canon, not technically canon anymore in Star Wars. Is going to be re-released, published by Random House Worlds. Let's see. And yeah, so they're basically reprinting a bunch of the old stuff for reasons, because they were classics, I guess. I don't know. Some of them I hadn't really read. But yeah, there you go. Those are getting reprinted, coming out in November. Catch it. I'm pretty sure the people that already got it. I don't know why I put this back in here again. Hopefully I didn't miss something. My apologies as you peek behind the curtain. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't put this in here twice. I did put this in here twice for some stupid reason. All right, cool. Well, we'll take that out of it. NECA debuts TMNT Last Ronin Re-Evolution Collector's Edition. So there's going to be a 4-pack limited to 100 pieces featuring the new Turtles, the Next Gen Turtles, 7-inch figures. And it's going to be $180 and set to release for Q1 2026. So pre-orders are live now if you're interested in that. Lego Ghostbusters HQ get reimagined and scaled down to 1,120 piece set build. So if you're watching the video version, you can see the Firehouse and the Ecto-1 right there that you can build. And I know you Lego Maniacs probably will. So there you go. We're flipping through the pictures. Nice. The real Ghostbusters Glow Ecto-1 is now available for pre-order. So yeah, there's the glowing Ecto-1, funky looking. You can pre-order that right now if you so desire. And also, looks like the real Ghostbusters figures of the guys. Which apparently is currently available at the convention. So, and remaining stock was going to be available at Hasbro Pulse, so don't expect too many of those to stick around probably, unless they made a whole bunch of them. We'll see. Probably not. Doesn't matter. Possible first look at Blocky's Transformers Galaxy version Unicron head. I forgot to put the thing about the Galactus popcorn bucket in there, but that's fine. If you've been to the movie theaters and seen Fantastic Four, and been to concessions, you know there's a couple of popcorn buckets already for Fantastic Four. But yeah, there's the Blocky's Unicron head. There you go. You can throw it on your desk if you want to, if you so desire. Next up, Hot Wheels and Transformers Color Shifters tracks found at UK retail. So this is coming from, Transformers site. Are these going to transform into whatever, or is this just color? Because if that's the case, it's just Hot Wheels cars that color change, which they've had before, if I remember in my old age. But yeah, so what basically, dip it in water, change the colors. They still run like Hot Wheels. I doubt if they're going to transform. So I'm not sure what the Transformers angle here is then, outside of the fact that they're the vehicles that the Transformers transform into. Anyway, we got official images of the very much mentioned Transformers Void Rivals 3-pack with Jetfire, Derek, and Solilla. Yeah, I would really like this, but I know it's not going to happen. I mean, I can definitely get me a Jetfire out there, I'm sure, but I don't know if I'll be able to get us Derek and Solilla. So probably missed out on that, and this is a con exclusive, so definitely won't be on Hasbro Pulse, unless by some miracle they put it out there, which I doubt it, because they would have said so by now. So yeah, there you go. Next up, we have 86 Optimus Prime Battle Damage version and more Hasbro Fan Expo 25 exclusive. I believe there's a Hasbro panel still going on, because as we speak, or probably just finishing, because, Pacific time, and we're on Eastern. So, let's see. This is something that's going to be offered at Hong Kong Anime Video Game Festival that is going on right now. So, nothing that's going to come out here more than likely. So, moving right along. Megatron gets a monstrous upgrade and new Transformers reveal. Megatron becomes King of the Monsters, and new Transformers Godzilla collaboration. We may have already talked about this already, because I said that all they had to do was either go with Grimlock or his Beast Wars figure. But apparently, yeah, there's upgrade kits for Megazaron Monster Kit upgrade is what it's called. Sure. Okay. Cool. Nicely done. Let's see, I'm flipping through some of the figures. There you go. I mean, some of the images. So yeah, cool. Next up, though, I don't know if Von Gloom is still in the chat, but guess what's coming back after, according to this article, 33 years. Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa. I've never really watched this show. I knew it was a thing, because I think this was after my time, possibly. But yeah, in 1984, Mirage Studios reshaped the superhero landscape when... Okay, no, they're talking about Turtles. Ryan Brown, drew up his own vision of anthropomorphic justice, which begot the Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa. So a surreal mashup of cowboy tropes, mutant mayhem, and Saturday morning charm. It was on ABC, according to this, and I don't remember it. So, like I said, I remember it being a thing, but I definitely don't remember watching it. And apparently this was a 90s thing also. Yeah, so they basically put Megatron's head on Grimlock's boss. Yeah, basically. Yeah, and Wild West Cowboys and Moo Mesa. And I think this is an Cell joint, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yes. Variety reports that the Nacelle Company is reviving Moo Mesa for a new multimedia franchise, a prequel comic book series, and a toy line featuring Dakota Dude, Moo Montana, and Colorado Kid have already been announced. However, unlike other retro revivals like Street Sharks, Captain Planet, or Toxic Avengers, the Cowboys are also getting a full 8-episode animated series. So it's kind of like a second chance of franchise that, according to this article, never got during its individual run. Okay. The sale is making some weird news, but I understand their vision. I mean, if you ever watch the Toys That Made Us, you kind of get it. And you should watch the Toys That Made Us because this is a good series. And I know they're coming back, which I need to see when those next couple of seasons are coming back. All right, 90s kids, you got your other thing, guys. Speaking of 90s kids, ThunderCats return with first ever comic series launching on Kickstarter this fall. I know we've talked about this before, but we got a little bit more information about the Kickstarter here. So the creative team is Frank J. Barbieri, and Kevin Rodatelli, who are co-writing. George Corona, who we know from Transformers and Batgirl, is handling art on this. So, okay, the art's going to look clean. Going to look pretty good. Let's see. The all-new series Mega Cats City Has Fallen will debut on Kickstarter in fall 2025, packed with exclusive rewards and surprises for fans old and new, according to this. And yeah. Oh, apparently Joseph Illidge is also is a part of this because his name on the top. Nice. So you can. Oh yeah, it says Joseph P. Illidge is going to be at Comic Con as he usually is, so that's not surprising. And probably for this and what other stuff he's talking about that he's into. Wait, hold on. I gotta read this quote real quick. ThunderCats had this gritty style, great character work, and political undertones. I don't remember that, but then again, I've only watched I didn't watch it that much. That made it unforgettable, says Illich. It's like Batman meets Black Sad. Okay. When Kevin asked me to jump in, I was all in. You know what? Hey, shout out to editor extraordinaire Joseph P. Illich, who's also writing more now. I ain't mad at him, I guess. I'm not mad at him, period. Get it? Not mad at him at all. But yeah, ThunderCats, folks, catch it. Actually, we're coming down to the last one finally. So, in case you like me have a pretty big digital collection of comic books, so there is an app for you. It's a self-hosted app, so you got to do a little finagling, rejiggering, and installing of things. So it is called Kavita, and it is an ebook management tool, kind of like oh shit, what is the other one? What is the joint? Calibra. It's kind of like that, but I guess more suited for comic books. Oh, apparently Restreams give me something, a thing. So, okay. I guess political in the sense that Lieutenant Farrell had his head up his butt and Mayor Manx was a horrible politician. I guess I'll take your word for it. Like I said, I don't know too much about the show. But yes, so Kavita is, like I said, the ebook management system. You can self-host it yourself. So, you make a library of all your books, of which I need to kind of straighten out, and I'll be glad when my network attached storage is fully functional again. But yeah, and you can do it on Windows, Mac, and Linux. So there you go. If you are so interested and so inclined, but you can check out the article in the show notes on how to get it. And that, folks, is it for the news section. Thank goodness. We're going to do one last ad read. My throat is killing me. I don't know why. I feel like my throat is killing me. Shout out to, y'all know nothing about that. What's the cost? What do you mean with the cost? It's free. I mean, Kavita is free. You basically have to set it up and deploy it yourself. So if you've used stuff like Plex or Jellyfin, stuff like that, it's kind of like that for for ebooks. So yeah, like I said, or if you lose Calibra, but I think Calibra also had something similar with it. But yeah, this is something I just thought about that, and I sent it to the other guys, see if they were interested, because I know all of us have a fairly sizable digital collection of comic books at this point. And hey, it'd be good to keep that situated, as it were. All right, folks, I'm going to push this over here, so you're going to see this while I set up for the last ad read. And that is not the last ad read. So there we go. Keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us, then click the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, Marvel Legends, Transformers, trading card packs, games, etc., board games, etc. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends CSPN a payment that helps us keep the Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Amazon through cspn.us. Do it today. All right, as I get back over here to me. All right, folks, that's it for the show. And that is it. Holy hell, 3 hours and 16 minutes, or probably less if I actually do any editing on this. Oh, my throat. I'm going to go drink me some tea. I shouldn't, because it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning, but I'm going to need it. With that, we will be back next week. I don't know Agent 70's status at this point, because I know he has something else going on possibly next week that we will probably have to. It probably won't be on Thursday when we record, but it will probably be that sometime that weekend. So, but stay tuned to our social medias for when we go live, as you do, and we appreciate you. Later days or later nights. Yeah, I know this is a later one. Even if I had started at 9:30, this would have still been pushing it. And I'm gonna go eat also, so definitely no editing is gonna be done. Either way, I've been Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter. You can find me at News Nerds Need on Twitter. You can also find me at Roddykat on Blue Sky on both of those places. On both of those. You could also find me at CBCaps on Instagram. Agent_70 on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. You can also find this here podcast on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Culture Little Podcast Network's SoundCloud page. You can also find us recording every Thursday, mostly every Thursday night, 9:30 or more than likely 10 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/TheKliqNation and twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles. Make sure you like and subscribe, smash that like button, all of that. Yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't get con crud, or as I tend to do, get airplane crud. Every time I'm on an airplane coming back from somewhere, I get sick and I hate it. And I don't know, no matter what I do, but that's okay, because I've been masked up for the last couple of years and I ain't stopping now. So even if I were ever to go out to any Comic-Con, I'm going to be masked up there too. So, and you just heard a little bit of South Carolina come out, so I don't, it is very much late. But yeah. Hopefully, he and Matt Wayne 97 stay safe out there and stay healthy. Most likely, I'm sure Matt's got him squared away on that part, because I've seen a couple of pictures of them together, so they seem to be doing all right. Like I said, so hopefully, like I said, we'll see what happens next week. But anyway, rambling too much, and it's already going long, way too long. This has been the Comic Book Chronicles. And appreciate you for coming through, Von Gloom, and staying like you do. I always appreciate it, sir. But this has been the Comic Book Chronicles. Peace.
Sayonara, bye bye.